Chapter 2084. Wifey, why are you still not done after sewing for so long? If you don't stop, I'm going to die from holding it in. Zhao Tianhu complained silently. Jin Ju glanced at Zhao Tianhu and saw that Zhao Tianhu's face was full of grievances. Were all men like this? They were too perverted. Jin Ju felt a little uncomfortable under Zhao Tianhu's scorching gaze. She replied weakly, "Oh, it's done." After picking up the last needle and thread, Jin Ju bit off the excess thread. She then walked to the bed, blew out the candle flame, and got on the bed. As soon as he saw Jin Ju get on the bed, Zhao Tianhu couldn't wait to press on top of her. Jin Ju whispered, "Husband, don't." Zhao Tianhu was in a panic at this time. How could he stop what he was doing? I want. He didn't know the taste of women before. Now that he had tasted it, how could he not continue to taste it? This thing was like smoking opium. It was addictive. Especially when they just got married, it was the most passionate time. If it was the night before, Jin Ju would probably indulge herself. But when she thought of Zhao Xinghui's words today, Jin Ju felt a little uncomfortable. If she screamed again tonight, she would definitely be called a slut. So when Zhao Tianhu touched her, Jin Ju hurriedly stopped him and said weakly, "Tianhu, don't. Why not? We made too much noise last night. People saw us. I'm embarrassed, so Tianhu, why don't we stop tonight?" Hearing Jin Ju's words, Zhao Tianhu's brows knitted together. Now that his desire was provoked, if he didn't relieve it at this time, wouldn't he die of discomfort? He pushed the hard thing below against Jin Ju's lower abdomen and said, "Ju, I want to listen to you, but it doesn't seem to agree. My good Ju, it's very uncomfortable. Can you help it?" Jin Ju's face burned even more. "I'm afraid that someone might hear us." Zhao Tianhu hurriedly comforted her. "Ju, it's okay. If we lower our voices tonight, we won't be able to hear. My mother lives on one side of our house, and my second uncle lives on the other. Even if my parents heard it, they wouldn't scold us. After all, they still want to have a grandchild soon. As for my second uncle, he is now lying in bed half dead, and the doctor said that his condition is very dangerous. There was no way he would have woken up at this time. I'm sure he won't hear us if we keep our voices down. As for the others, they won't be able to hear us as long as we don't make too much noise." Zhao Tianhu consoled Jin Jusai for a while before she finally nodded in agreement. "Then hubby, we must make a big commotion." Zhao Tianhu promised, "Of course, wife. Don't worry, I'll be careful and be gentle with you." Only then did Jin Ju nod in agreement. She was the same as Zhao Tianhu. After all, they were both very young. After having a taste of it yesterday, her body couldn't take it anymore. She couldn't wait to do it. Even if the two of them restrained themselves, they still made some noise. While eating, Zhao Wenshui, who was in the next room, had woken up. Chapter 2085. Zhao Wenshui felt like a cripple. He was so pitiful, but no one cared about him. When he wanted to drink water, no one would bring him water, let alone take care of him. Now, when he thought about how Li Chuiying was at home, he could be an ancestor and scold Li Chuiying every day. It was so satisfying. Even when he was sick and injured, Li Chuiying could still take care of him very well. Unfortunately, Li Chuiying had returned to her parents' home, and the two of them were divorced. It was unrealistic to count on Li Chuiying. It was only at this moment that he regretted his decision to divorce Li Chuiying out of the blue. Even if Li Chuiying wanted to divorce, he would let her leave after Li Chuiying finished serving him. Zhao Wenshui, who was lying in bed, was very worried about his physical condition. He had suffered such a serious injury and felt that his life was in danger. If he didn't handle it well, he might die. He was still so young. He didn't want to die. There were still many days that he hadn't enjoyed. No one would take care of him. Not to mention the injuries on his body. Eating, drinking, and urinating every day were big problems. It was impossible to not have someone to take care of him. If he lay in bed for a few more days, he would definitely become a cripple. Now, Zhao Wenshui was looking forward to marrying a wife. As long as it was a woman, it would be good to take good care of him. Just as he was thinking in a daze, he heard movements in the room next door. The sound of ecstasy made him feel even more uncomfortable. Zhao Wenshui was already injured, but his body was reacting. He was suffering. However, the movements in the room next door took more than an hour to quiet down. Zhao Yunshui endured for more than an hour. In the end, he unknowingly fell asleep and no longer had any reaction. The next day, Zhao Yun'er and her family woke up early. After resting for a whole night, Zhao Yun'er's spirit had recovered a lot, and she was as spirited as usual. Early in the morning, Yi Li went out for a stroll. Shui Lan village was against the mountains. Thinking that it was still early, he wanted to walk around and take a look. He rarely saw such scenery. Zhao Yun'er was busy preparing breakfast. With Liang Jinxiao around, she did not have to do much. Most of the work was done by Liang Jinxiao. For breakfast, she made some millet pumpkin porridge and some side dishes. He also baked a few pancakes. Although they weren't very sumptuous, they tasted pretty good. While Zhao Yun'er was busy preparing breakfast, Yi Li also rushed back from outside. As soon as he walked into Zhao Yun'er's house, he smelled the aroma of food coming from the kitchen. Yi Li sniffed and was attracted by the aroma. What he liked the most was the peaceful and comfortable life in Zhao Yun'er's home. Although the family was not very rich, they didn't eat exotic delicacies, and they didn't live in a luxurious house. But it gave people an indescribable feeling. This kind of peaceful life made people's hearts calm down. If they slowed down, life seemed to become much better. Benefactor, breakfast is ready. Come and eat quickly. Liang Jinxiao put the food on the table and called Yi Li over. Okay. Yi Li smiled. She quickened her pace and walked to the table. After breakfast, Yi Li thought that it was about time for him to leave. He would feel embarrassed if he stayed in Zhao Yun'er's house for too long. He was thin-skinned and did not want to wait for Zhao Yun'er's family to kick him out. Chapter 2086. When Yi Li proposed to leave, Zhao Yun was slightly stunned. Because they knew Yi Li's situation, they knew that Yi Li was homeless. If she left their home, where could Yi Li settle down? Zhao Yun suddenly remembered that Yi Li was very down and out at that time. He didn't even have enough food to eat, let alone money to live in a restaurant. Now Yi Li came back again, but she still didn't know Yi Li's situation. If Yi Li was still poor and had difficulty surviving, it was better to let him stay in her home. At least he had a place to stay during this period. As for the future, she could think of a way slowly. It would get better. How about staying in my home for a while? Where are you going now? Are you going to Yang City? Zhao Yun asked. Yi Li shook his head and said, I don't know, but if I'm going, I should go to Yang City. Yun, it's too troublesome for me to stay in your home. It's not good for me to be an outsider. Liang Jinxiao hurried to persuade him. Benefactor, what's wrong with that? There are many houses in my home. You can stay as you wish. It's not a problem. Zhao Yun was afraid that Yi Li would have problems if he stayed alone. This guy must have suffered a lot during his escape. Now he could live a more peaceful life. It would be good for him to stay in her home. Although she didn't have anything good to treat him, she believed that Yi Li wouldn't mind the ordinary food. You don't have any relatives in Yang City now, so you don't have any plans. You shouldn't be in a hurry to leave. Why don't you stay in my home for a few more days so that we can get together? I didn't have time to talk to you yesterday. Now I haven't asked you why you suddenly came to save me and how you found me and knew that I had an accident. Did you follow me in advance? Yi Li hurriedly waved his hand. No. I didn't follow you. Was he that kind of person? If he secretly followed her, people would definitely think that he was a pervert who secretly followed a woman. Then why? Yi Li recounted what had happened that day. In fact, he was just strolling on the street when he saw an ox cart pass by him. He didn't know why, but when the ox cart passed by, his heart suddenly tightened, and there was a strange feeling in his heart. He then followed the ox cart for a few steps. Relying on his sensitive sense of smell, he smelled a familiar scent from the ox cart. And that smell belonged to Zhao Yun. However, he wasn't sure. After all, the smell was too faint. Sometimes he could smell it, and sometimes he couldn't. He could only secretly follow the ox cart and observe the situation. He did not dare to act rashly. Then he realized that the man in gray was carrying a sack. It was obvious that the sack didn't contain goods but people. The sack was sealed, so he couldn't see who was inside. As he continued to observe, he noticed that Murong Shuang had brought a group of people over. Sensing that something was amiss, he rushed into the house. In the end, Zhao Yun'er was inside, and he saved Zhao Yun'er along the way. After hearing Yi Li's words, Zhao Yun'er couldn't help but sigh. If the ox cart hadn't brushed past Yi Li, and if Yi Li hadn't smelled her scent, perhaps the situation would have been completely different. Her life would have been ruined. At this moment, Zhao Yun'er was indescribably grateful to Yi Li. Yi Li, thank you. Yun'er, you don't have to be so polite with me. I saved you willingly, and I'm very happy to do so. Chapter 2087. Zhao Yun'er also believed that it was God's arrangement. If it wasn't for God, how could something so subtle happen? After all, the probability was too small. It wasn't easy to encounter it. However, Zhao Yun'er was grateful for God's arrangement. No matter who came to save her, at least they didn't let that terrible situation happen. After breakfast, Zhao Yun'er's family members who were busy went to work. Mu Lianfeng prepared to go back to the Shitzi mansion. He wanted to ask Murong Shuang clearly and settle the score. Unfortunately, as Mu Lianfeng expected, Murong Shuang had already rushed back to the capital. He couldn't chase her to the capital, so he could only return to Shui Lan village in disappointment. Zhao Yun'er didn't continue to pursue this matter. If Murong Shuang didn't receive any punishment and directly returned to the capital, she would definitely do her best to make this woman receive the punishment she deserved. Now that she was fine, it was Murong Shuang who was gang-raped. This alone was enough for Murong Shuang to suffer. Mu Lianfeng didn't object to the addition of Yi Li to the family. When he thought about how he couldn't save Zhao Yun'er, it was his incompetence. Yi Li was his benefactor. If he chased Yi Li away now, it would seem that he wasn't a man and was too petty. Of course, the most important thing was that Mu Lianfeng believed in Zhao Yun'er. He believed in the feelings between the two of them. Zhao Yun'er definitely wouldn't abandon him for another man. Yi Li looked like a reliable person. Since he was a gentleman, he wouldn't steal someone's love and wouldn't do dirty things behind their backs. On the other side, in old Zhao's courtyard, because Jin Ju and Zhao Tianhu ate snails and rabbit meat last night, they took out the bowls and washed them. They were about to send them to Zhao Yun'er when Shen Pan happened to see them. Shen Pan understood that her second brother and second sister-in-law were eating alone in their room. Old Zhao's family wasn't well off to begin with, so they didn't have much delicious food. The invitations sent by Zhao Yun'er were all delicious. Since they were not separated, she should let her Yang eat some. However, Jin Ju and Zhao Tianhu did not do so. Shen Pan'er felt that this matter could be said to be light, but it could also be said to be serious. Now that he had eaten it once, there would be a second and third time in the future. What right did they have to secretly eat when they were having fun? Once Zhao Tianlong became a Shangguan, he would have to take care of his younger brother and sister-in-law? Shen Pan'er was too embarrassed to say it out loud, so she could only remain silent. In her heart, she was even more determined to separate. As long as they didn't live together in the future, whatever Zhao Tianhu and Jin Ju ate had nothing to do with her family. When it was close to noon, Zhao Ping'er's donkey stopped in old Zhao's yard. Xiaoxin would be sitting under the shade of a tree as usual, with her legs crossed and eating melon seeds, looking very leisurely. However, only Zhao Xinhui knew in her heart that her heart was too stuffy. She didn't know when this kind of life in old Zhao's house would come to an end. There wasn't much fun in a run-down place like the countryside. It was so stuffy. Most importantly, she couldn't spend her money. She couldn't eat the delicious food she wanted to eat. It wasn't as comfortable as when she was in Yang City. When she had nothing to do, she would go out shopping, buy delicious food, pick some clothes and jewelry she liked, and live a happy life every day. But now... Chapter 2088. Just as he was feeling bored to death, he saw Zhao Ping'er's little donkey arrive in front of his courtyard. Then, from a distance, he heard Qin Yuan shouting excitedly, "Auntie, auntie." Zhao Xinhui looked in the direction of Qin Yuan and her heart skipped a beat. She knew that Qin Yuan must have come for something important. The only thing that could be considered important at the moment was the matter of the restaurant. Hua Chunhua immediately came out of the house when she heard Qin Yuan's voice. This brat liked to seduce her daughter. If she didn't do something about it, who knew what would happen? When she saw Qin Yuan, Hua Chunhua asked irritably, "Brat, what are you doing here this time?" Qin Yuan faced Hua Chunhua, who had a cold expression on her face. Because of Zhao Xinhui, he smiled ingratiatingly and said, "Grandma, I'm here to look for Auntie." Hua Chunhua replied irritably, "I know you're here for something. Tell me, what is it?" "Grandma, the restaurant I'm running is about to open, so I'm here to inform you and Auntie." Hua Chunhua's ugly expression finally eased when she heard Qin Yuan say that he was about to open a restaurant. "What? Your restaurant is open?" Qin Yuan hurriedly replied, "Yes, Grandma. I rented this restaurant a few days ago. I just finished cleaning it up a few days ago. I'm preparing to open it tomorrow. When it opens tomorrow, I want you to come with me. Everyone can join in the fun." Hua Chunhua's eyes lit up instantly. In the past, she looked down on Qin Yuan because Qin Yuan's family was too poor and he didn't have much ability. If Zhao Xinhui were to be with a man like him, she would definitely suffer in the future. However, things were different now. Qin Yuan really opened a restaurant. Everything else aside, it was definitely an amazing thing to be able to open a restaurant in Yang City. Unlike other businesses, a restaurant could earn a lot of money in a day. With a restaurant, there would be income every day. Over time, they could still make a fortune. Compared to the countryside, such conditions were still very rare. Her Hui was not the same as before. In the past, not only was she beautiful, but she was also a virgin. Now that she was married and abandoned by her husband, everyone in the village knew about it. As the news spread, everyone knew about their family scandal. In addition, Zhao Xinhui had a miscarriage. It would be harder than ascending to heaven for Zhao Xinhui to find a good family to marry. Now, Qin Yuan's conditions weren't bad. Most importantly, Qin Yuan really liked Zhao Xinhui and was completely devoted to her. If Zhao Xinhui and Qin Yuan were together, they might even be able to live a good life. "You rascal, you're not lying, are you? Are you telling the truth?" Hua Chunhua asked with uncertainty. Qin Yuan quickly nodded and said, "Grandma, of course it's true. I can't lie about this kind of thing, right? You'll know when we go to the restaurant tomorrow. Tomorrow is the first day of opening, and it will definitely be very lively. I want to invite everyone to come and eat for free. Let's have some fun together." Chapter 2089. Qin Yuan smiled shyly. "That's right. I've been busy these past few days. Now that it's finally open, I can finally put down the huge rock in my heart. Your Ping Er's relatives, and also her elders. Since we're opening a restaurant, we naturally have to invite all of you to join us for a meal. It's the first day of opening, and it's a joyous occasion. Everyone feel free to eat. You can also have a taste of our restaurant's food." Feng Zhangxia thought that since they were going to eat in a restaurant, there would definitely be fish and other dishes. In this way, wouldn't old Zhao's family be able to have a good meal with them? Who wouldn't be happy to hear such a free benefit? Especially for someone like her who liked to take advantage of others. She always felt that a pie had fallen from the sky and she had picked up a benefit. When others gave benefits to her, she had to cater to them on the surface and say a few words. Thus, Feng Zhangxia began to praise Qin Yuan without restraint. "Niece-in-law, you're really a promising child. Back then, when that last Ping-er married you, your family was poor. Now you've become rich so quickly. You've even opened a restaurant. It's definitely hard to find another restaurant like this within a radius of dozens of kilometers. My third brother and third sister-in-law really have good taste. They picked you at first glance. Now it's great that you're successful. More importantly, you're still thinking about us poor relatives even after you've become rich. You don't dislike us at all. This kind of character is really rare. You're really a good person." Qin Yuan felt a little smug after being praised by Feng Zhangxia. After Feng Zhangxia finished speaking, she even poked Hua Chunhua. "Mother, look, Qin Yuan is such a good child." Hua Chunhua was a snob. Since Qin Yuan opened a restaurant, Hua Chunhua's expression naturally became much better compared to before. Hearing Feng Zhangxia's words, she nodded and replied, "It's really not bad. Since you're so considerate, our family will go together tomorrow and make your restaurant lively. Qin Yuan answered happily. Seeing Hua Chunhua's attitude, he was less prejudiced against him. He was most afraid that Hua Chunhua would say that he was a toad lusting after a swan. Although he knew in his heart that compared to his previous conditions, he was indeed not worthy of Zhao Xinhui. Now, he was working hard for Zhao Xinhui. He had also opened a restaurant. As long as he managed it well, he would be able to earn a lot of money. When the time came, he would be able to live a good life with Zhao Xinhui. Mother, don't let your niece and son-in-law just stand there. Quickly ask him to sit down. Feng Zhangxia reminded from the side. Hua Chunhua finally reacted and responded. Qin Yuan sat down next to Zhao Xinhui under the shade of the tree. Feng Zhangxia immediately took a glass of water and handed it to Qin Yuan. Come on, are you thirsty now? Quickly drink a glass of water. Look at how sweaty you are. Feng Zhangxia fawned over Qin Yuan not only because she could eat and drink for free tomorrow, but also because she thought that since Qin Yuan could open a restaurant, she could establish a good relationship with Qin Yuan. Perhaps she could often eat and drink for free in Qin Yuan's restaurants. Their family was poor and did not have much good food. Occasionally, they could go to Qin Yuan's restaurants to eat good food to satisfy their cravings. Thank you, Auntie. Qin Yuan thanked her. Feng Zhangxia said with a fake smile, You're too polite. Qin Yuan had never been treated like this before. In the past, when he came to old Zhao's house, no one paid any attention to him. Chapter 2090. Qin Yuan naturally knew that old Zhao's family's attitude towards him had changed drastically because he had opened a restaurant. If he had remained as useless as before, he might have received the supercilious looks from old Zhao's family. People were realistic. Only when you were rich and successful would others look up to you and chase after you. If you were poor, you would have to accept the supercilious looks from others. Because of this, Qin Yuan was even more determined to work hard and earn more money. Other than giving Zhao Xinhui a better life, he also wanted those who looked down on him to take him seriously, flatter him, and curry favor with him. Hua Chunhua muttered, I underestimated you. I didn't expect you to really open a restaurant. Qin Yuan smiled. Grandma, I did all this for my aunt. Yes, I know, Hua Chunhua replied. Zhao Xinhui moved closer to Qin Yuan, took the peeled melon seeds in her hand, and held them to Qin Yuan's lips. She said sweetly, Here, open your mouth. This is your reward. Qin Yuan happily opened his mouth and ate the melon seeds that Zhao Xinhui had peeled. Zhao Ping watched from the side and clenched her fists in anger. Her aunt was really too much. After all, she was Qin Yuan's daughter-in-law now. What was the big deal about Zhao Xinhui and Qin Yuan's intimate posture? Zhao Xinhui had not peeled the melon seeds with her hands, but with her mouth. When she spat them out, her saliva was stuck to her mouth. She had even fed Qin Yuan the dirty melon seeds. The more Zhao Ping thought about it, the angrier she became. Seriously? Zhao Ping muttered. Her resentful gaze landed on Zhao Xinhui. However, Zhao Xinhui did not look at her at all. She did not care about her and continued to flirt with Qin Yuan. Is it delicious? Zhao Xinhui asked sweetly. Regardless of how the melon seeds tasted, Zhao Xinhui was very happy to be able to taste Zhao Xinhui's saliva. Qin Yuan immediately nodded and replied, It's delicious. How can the peanuts peeled by my aunt not be delicious? Since you like it, I'll peel some more for you. Okay, Zhao Xinhui said. She continued to crack the melon seeds in her mouth and fed Qin Yuan. Hua Chunhua looked a little embarrassed. She knocked on the ground gently. There are people in the courtyard. Be careful. Zhao Xinhui muttered. Mother, what's there to be careful of? What's there to be careful of? Don't get too close to the two of you. You're not together yet. What if other people see you? Hua Chunhua was concerned about her reputation. She was worried about the consequences. Mother, you didn't agree to us being together before because Qin Yuan's family was poor. Now that he's rich, you won't still disagree, right? Zhao Xinhui questioned unhappily. She thought that Hua Chunhua's words meant that she did not approve of Qin Yuan. Hua Chunhua explained, I didn't agree before. After all, his family background was too poor. You would suffer if you were to be with someone like him. I don't have any objections now, but if you two are together, you have to be legitimate. You should be clear about your relationship now. You have to deal with it properly. Otherwise, how can you be together? If other people see you together, they will gossip. Zhao Xinhui frowned. It turned out that Hua Chunhua was still conflicted about this. Chapter 2091. This wasn't a difficult thing to do. They could just say that Zhao Pinger had slept with that fool and was even pregnant with his child. This way, it would be perfectly justifiable for them to push Zhao Pinger to Qin Yuan. This way, she would be able to be together with Qin Yuan. In the future, if others still criticized them, then there was nothing they could do. They just had to treat their words like farts and not care so much. Mother, don't worry. Qin Yuan and I will do it well. We won't let others gossip about us. Zhao Xinhui patted her chest and promised. Qin Yuan also hurriedly replied, Grandmother, if I get together with Auntie, I will definitely make reasonable arrangements. It's fine as long as you can promise. Once everything is arranged, you can be together. But for now, it's best to be careful. Only then did Zhao Xinhui and Qin Yuan reluctantly keep some distance. Qin Yuan planned to earn enough money to buy a big house in Yang City. Then, he would hold a formal wedding and marry Zhao Xinhui. He would let others know that Zhao Xinhui was also the rightful wife of his prestigious family. Auntie, it doesn't matter if we're intimate for a while. As long as our hearts are together, it's fine. Qin Yuan looked at Zhao Xinhui and said affectionately. Zhao Xinhui nodded. At the same time, she instructed Qin Yuan, now that the restaurant is open, go and talk to Zhao Ping. I don't want her to make a fuss when we're together. Don't worry, Auntie. I'll talk to her when we get back today. Qin Yuan hurriedly agreed. Zhao Pinger was a little confused. She didn't know what Qin Yuan and Zhao Xinhui were whispering about. She had a feeling that they were betraying her. Zhao Ping glared hatefully at Zhao Xinhui. Her sister-in-law was really incomparable when it came to seduction. She always knew how to make her lover fall head over heels in love with her and listen to everything she said. Now, she and the Qin Yuan had finally made a name for themselves. She had accompanied the Qin Yuan through hard times and was about to live a prosperous life. Unfortunately, Zhao Xinhui had appeared again. She stood there alone. She was obviously Qin Yuan's wife, but she looked like an outsider. On the other hand, Qin Yuan and Zhao Xinzhong were together. The two of them were exchanging flirtatious glances, making them look like a couple. Since the arrival of Qin Yuan and the opening of the restaurant were good news, old Zhao's family members gathered together to talk about it. Even Zhao Baoshan asked a few questions casually. No matter what, Qin Yuan was the son-in-law of old Zhao's family. Qin Yuan had opened a restaurant. If he had the ability, old Zhao's family would benefit from it as well. When they went back to the village, they could brag about it. If others heard about it, they would definitely be envious of old Zhao's family. After chatting for a while, Qin Yuan ordered Zhao Pinger, go to your parents' place and tell them that we'll go to the restaurant in Yang City for dinner tomorrow. Of course, Zhao Yun'er's family would be involved in such an important matter. Qin Yuan didn't really care about Zhao Yun'er's family. Now that he had the ability, he should let Zhao Yun'er's family know that he couldn't let them look down on him. Back then, when Zhao Yun'er's family was rich, they looked down on him. Now that he had opened a restaurant, he could hold his head high. He had to show off a little. The way to show off was to call Zhao Yun'er's family over for a meal and let them see how his newly opened restaurant was like. Zhao Pinger pouted and muttered, Big brother Yuan, am I going alone? Can't you handle such a small matter alone? Chapter 2092. Zhao Pinger's coquettishness was not only ineffective in front of Qin Yuan, but it also caused Qin Yuan to feel a wave of disgust in his heart. This woman was a little too disgusting. This kind of pretentious behavior was a little unbearable. A woman's coquettishness was only suitable for beautiful and good-looking women. For someone like Zhao Ping with an ugly face, it would only make people feel disgusted and disgusted. Qin Yuan replied with some disdain, You still have to ask me to accompany you for such a small matter. Zhao, tell me what else can you do? Big brother Yuan, going to my parents' place is not a small matter. As my son-in-law, you should at least accompany me, right? Otherwise, wouldn't it seem like we're not sincere? Zhao Ping muttered. She did not dare to speak too harshly, afraid that Qin Yuan would be angry if he heard her. Qin Yuan frowned and glanced at Zhao Ping. Then he said, "We specially made a trip here. How is that not sincere?" "Big brother Yuan, don't you want to see my parents' reaction when they find out that you opened a restaurant? If they praise you, wouldn't it be better if you heard it with your own ears?" Qin Yuan was silent for a while. How could he not be curious about Zhao Yun's family's reaction? He had been waiting for this day to come where he could hold his head high. It was not easy for him to wait for this day. It would be a pity if he missed out on Zhao Yun's family's reaction. Previously, they did not allow him and Zhao Ping to go over, most likely because they were poor. Now that they knew that he opened a restaurant, they might try to curry favor with him again. Thinking about it this way, Qin Yuan felt that he should indeed go over personally. Thus, he got up reluctantly and said to Zhao Xinhui, "Auntie, I'll leave for a while. I'll come over later." Zhao Xinhui responded unhappily. Qin Yuan smiled fawningly. "Auntie, don't worry. I'll be back soon." Then hurry up. Don't dawdle." But, seeing that Qin Yuan finally agreed to go with her to the third branch, Zhao Ping felt a lot better. With a big smile on her face, she hurriedly moved closer to Qin Yuan. Then, she reached out and tried to hold onto Qin Yuan's arm. "Big brother Yuan." When he was 1 meter away from Zhao Ping, Qin Yuan hurriedly dodged and shouted at Zhao Ping, "Zhao Ping, what do you want to do? Why are you so close to me?" Zhao Ping pouted and mumbled, "Big brother Yuan, we are husband and wife. If you and auntie can get close, why can't I?" Zhao Ping, can you have some self-awareness? I have to buy you a mirror later so that you can take a good look at yourself and know what you look like. Big brother Yuan, no matter how ugly I look, I'm still your legal wife. I'm better than auntie. You treat auntie so well, but you don't treat me that well. Zhao Ping could not help but complain. The more she thought about how Qin Yuan and Zhao Xinhui were together, the angrier Zhao Ping became. Qin Yuan glared at Zhao Ping a little angrily. "Zhao Ping I can't be bothered to talk to you. If you don't know what's good for you, then don't blame me for being rude." In the face of Qin Yuan's warning, Zhao Ping could only shut her mouth resentfully. She lowered her head and followed Qin Yuan to the third branch's house. At this time, Zhao Yun was in the courtyard, sitting under the shade of a tree. She was holding Tian Tian in her arms, and Liang Jinxiao was sitting beside her. The family was chatting together. Chapter 2093. This child had enough nutrition and did not look as thin as when she was born. Zhao Yun estimated that after a while, Tian Tian would grow up to be chubby, like a cute porcelain doll. Tian Tian, who was originally in her arms, suddenly made a fuss. Zhao Yun hurriedly held Tian Tian and asked softly, "Tianan, do you want to poop or pee?" Tian Tian whimpered a few times, but Zhao Yun did not understand. However, Tian Tian soon let out a loud fart, and then took out a pile of poop. The child's poop was pink and the smell was not strong, so it did not smell bad. Zhao Yun smiled and said, "No wonder you're more noisy than usual. You want to poop?" She held Tian Tian in her hand and let the baby poop for a while. Then Tian Tian whimpered twice, indicating that she was done. Zhao Yun then asked Liang Jinxiao to bring some paper over and wipe Tian Tian's butt. Because Tian Tian was a baby, her butt was very tender and could not accept that kind of sharp thing. The paper used to wipe Tian Tian's butt was soft and would not hurt the skin. Of course, only people with conditions like Zhao Yun could afford to use it. If it was in an ordinary family, such a small child would at most use a rag to wipe her poop, and then wash the rag and continue to use it. After all, the conditions were limited and they did not have so much money to waste on paper. In this village, generally, very few people were willing to use straw paper to wipe their buttocks. They directly used some wooden sticks or leaves. Zhao Yun remembered that when she had just transmigrated, she was not used to using wooden sticks, and there was no straw paper. Later, she pulled a few leaves to make do. The result of using leaves was that the chrysanthemum was very itchy and uncomfortable. Later, when the conditions were slightly better, She decisively bought straw paper to use at home. Just as she held Tian Tian back in her arms, Little Black followed the smell of Tian Tian's poop and bowed his head to eat it. Zhao Yuner hurriedly pushed Little Black away and sternly reprimanded it. Little Black, you can't eat it. How many times have I told you? Although you're a dog, you can't eat shit. It's too dirty, and the smell is too strong. If you eat it, we'll despise you to death. Little Hay glanced at the sweet papa and whimpered as if it understood Zhao Yuner's words. It turned its head and stopped eating. Zhao Yuner didn't know why dogs had an inexplicable attraction to Papa. Little Black's daily meals were not bad, but he was always thinking about Papa. Fearing that Little Hay would secretly eat Jin Xiao, Little Hay hurriedly took out some plant ashes and covered Sweet Sweet's pow. Then she cleaned up the pow. Outside the big yard, Liang Jinxiao had just turned back and sat down when she heard Little Black bark a few times and then run out of the yard. Seeing Xiao He like this, Liang Jinxiao and Zhao Yun both thought that Xiao He had rushed out and was reluctant to give up the poop that Liang Jinxiao had taken away, so they wanted to catch up and eat it. Hey Yuner, no wonder people often say that dogs can't change their habit of eating shit. Even our Little Black is like this. Zhao Yuner was very helpless. Yes, I really don't know why dogs don't like to eat this. Little Black will get dirty later. Don't let Daodu and Tianfu play with him. Yes, later tell the two children to stay away, so that Little Black won't dirty the poop. Chapter 2094. These two people were Zhao Ping and Qin Yuan. It was no wonder that Little Black was barking so fiercely. Not only did Zhao Yun hate these two people, but Little Black was also a dog with intelligence. It knew that whatever Zhao Yun hated, it would also hate. Therefore, when Zhao Ping and Qin Yuan came over, it immediately barked wildly to express its dissatisfaction. Zhao Yun said to Liang Jinxiao, "Mother, Little Black isn't eating shit. It's big sister Ping and Qin Yuan who came over." Only then did Liang Jinxiao notice Zhao Ping and Qin Yuan. Seeing these two familiar figures, Liang Jinxiao's brows also knitted together. Now that she saw Zhao Ping, she felt annoyed. She also didn't know why Zhao Ping had specially come over this time. At this moment, Liang Jinxiao's right eye twitched. She was slightly startled and muttered, "Great, this is great. Nothing good is going to happen again." Could it be that Zhao Ping and Qin Yuan came over to trouble them again? Qin Yuan and Zhao Ping were about to reach Zhao Yun's courtyard when they were stopped by Little Black. Little Black bared its fangs and looked like it could pounce at any time. Zhao Ping and Qin Yuan were so frightened that they didn't dare to go forward, afraid that they would be bitten by Little Black. Especially Zhao Ping, who had been bitten by Little Black before and knew the pain. At this moment, after Little Black barked a few times, Zhao Ping was so frightened that she directly hid behind Qin Yuan. Qin Yuan was also very frightened. He shrank behind Zhao Ping and even complained to Zhao Ping, "Woman, do you have any conscience at all? Seriously, you only know how to let me block in front. What if that dog bites me? Big brother Yuan, aren't I scared? So I couldn't help but hide behind you. I didn't do it on purpose." "Stop quibbling. Zhao Ping, I've finally seen through you. How dare you treat me like this?" "Big brother Yuan, I really didn't do it on purpose. I was bitten by Little Black before, and I'm very scared. What should we do now? Little Black is so fierce, we definitely can't go over. If we go over, we will be caught and bitten by Little Black." As Zhao Ping spoke, she was so scared that she took a few steps back. Qin Yuan secretly scolded Zhao Ping for being a good-for-nothing. Although he was also very scared, he came to Zhao Yuner's house today for serious business. Therefore, when faced with the barking Little Hay, Qin Yuan shouted towards the courtyard, "Mother, I'm here for business. Hurry up and let Little Hay go." "That's right, Mother. Big brother Yuan and I are here for business. Little Black is blocking us and we can't come over. Hurry up and get rid of it. This damn dog is really too much. It catches and bites the whole family. It doesn't have any eyesight at all. To think that you guys fed it so much food." The corner of Zhao Yuner's mouth twitched. Little Black's eyesight was clearly not bad. It knew how to chase away evil people when it saw them. What are you guys here for? Liang Jinxiao asked indifferently. Mother, how are we going to talk if you let this damn dog block us? Hurry up and get rid of it so that we can talk. Zhao Ping grumbled. Liang Jinxiao thought about it. He was curious about what important matter Zhao Ping and Qin Yuan had to personally come over. He called out to Little Black, "Little Black, come back." Little Black was very intelligent. When he heard Liang Jinxiao's voice, he turned around to take a look. After wagging his tail, he obediently returned to the courtyard. Zhao Ping and Qin Yuan watched Little Black leave. Only then did they muster up the courage to go to the third branch's courtyard. Girl, if there's anything, hurry up and say it. Liang Jinxiao urged. Chapter 2095. Liang Jinxiao was stunned. Only then did she know that Zhao Ping and Qin Yuan came over to talk about opening a restaurant. She was not very surprised when she heard about this matter. After all, she had already heard about it before. As for whether Zhao Ping and Qin Yuan opened a restaurant or not, that had nothing to do with her. She did not want to worry about this daughter of hers. Whether her life was good or bad, that had nothing to do with her. Therefore, Liang Jinxiao only gave an indifferent reply. Zhao Ping continued to speak proudly. Mother, Big Brother Yuan's restaurant is opened in Yang City. The shop is not small. When it opens, there will definitely be a lot of money coming in. Relying on this restaurant, we will slowly become rich. In the future, we will become the wealthiest family in the village. Mother, you see, you used to despise Big Brother Yuan's family for being poor. Now that Big Brother Yuan has opened a restaurant, you can be considered to have struck it rich. Zhao Ping bragged about them opening a restaurant while secretly praising herself for having good eyesight to find such a good man like Qin Yuan. Seeing Zhao Ping's proud and boastful look, the corner of Zhao Yun's mouth could not help but twitch. Wasn't it just a restaurant? Those who did not know would think that they had done something big. If one opened a restaurant to show off in front of others, they might be envied. However, to Zhao Yun, opening a restaurant was not worth mentioning. With the gold, silver, and jewelry bestowed by the Emperor, Mu Lianfeng's assets, and the benefits that she could earn in the future, even if Zhao Ping opened 10 more restaurants, she would not be able to catch up to her. Yet this woman still showed off in front of her. When Liang Jinxiao heard that, she only gave an indifferent reply. Father, mother, and younger sister Yun, Big Brother Yuan and I are opening the restaurant tomorrow. It's already very late. Grandfather, grandmother, and a few uncles are all going over together. You all should also come over for a meal. Zhao Ping said proudly. She came over to invite them over for a meal, but in reality, it was more like she was showing off. After all, it was a joyous occasion for Zhao Ping and Qin Yuan. In addition, the rest of old Zhao's family would be going. If they did not go, it would seem a little overboard. Liang Jinxiao agreed, and he did not seem very happy, smiling as if it was a very normal thing. The reaction of Zhao Yun's family was completely out of Qin Yuan's information. To be more precise, it did not reach what Qin Yuan wanted. He had already opened a restaurant. How could Zhao Yun suddenly see such a powerful thing as a very ordinary thing? She didn't put it in her eyes and didn't treat him specially. Unlike in the Zhao clan, Hua Chunhua, Zhao Baoshan, and Feng Zhangxia were obviously much friendlier to him after learning that he had opened a restaurant. But she did not take him seriously at all. Now that he was successful, how could she treat him like this? Qin Yuan was still a little sad and unconvinced. He knocked his head lightly and said deliberately, "Mother, we were poor in the past. I know you look down on me. Now that Ping and I have opened a restaurant, when we come over again, don't act like you're hiding from relatives. You even sent a dog to stop us. You can't look down on us like this, right?" Liang Jinxiao was slightly stunned. Then he said, "You misunderstood. I never despised you for being poor. If I despised you now, I wouldn't have married Ping to you back then." Chapter 2096. How could Qin Yuan believe Liang Jinxiao's words? He was still certain that Liang Jinxiao looked down on him because he was too poor. It seemed that it was useless to open a restaurant. He had to earn a lot of money back. Only when he had a certain amount of money would the third branch take a second look at him. Qin Yuan's heart suddenly gave birth to another kind of motivation. He must make himself earn enough money. When he goes back to Zhao Yun'er's house, he will travel in a luxurious carriage. He does not believe that these people will not look at him. Every dog has its day. Don't look down on a young man because he was poor. They would regret it in the future. Mother, how can you be like this? You just don't want me to come back. Zhao Ping replied angrily. She had kindly come back to invite them to eat at a restaurant, but in the end, she was treated like this. Her mother was really trying her best to distance herself from her. Liang Jinxiao stared at Zhao Yun, and the corners of his mouth twitched. He said indifferently, Ping girl, you know what you've done. You don't need me to say more. No one knows better than you how mother treated you in the past. Now that you're living a good life and don't need the help of your family, there's no need for you to come back. Mother, Zhao Yun listened from the side. Facing a brainless woman like Zhao Ping, she said disdainfully, Sister Ping, if there's nothing else, you can go back. My dog doesn't seem to welcome you. As soon as Zhao Yun finished speaking, Little He cooperatively barked at Zhao Ping and Qin Yuan. Seeing Little He baring his fangs, Zhao Ping and Qin Yuan were so scared that they took a few steps back. Qin Yuan pulled Zhao Ping and said, let's go. Don't stay here anymore. They're chasing you away. What's the point of being thick-skinned and staying here? Zhao Ping wanted to say something but swallowed it back. She followed Qin Yuan and left Zhao Yun'er's courtyard. Along the way, Qin Yuan had a gloomy face and didn't bother with Zhao Ping at all. Zhao Ping cautiously followed behind Qin Yuan and called out to Qin Yuan, Brother Yuan. Seeing that Qin Yuan didn't say anything, Zhao Ping was a little anxious. Why did she have to chase after him and shout? Brother Yuan, why are you ignoring me? Qin Yuan said impatiently, Zhao Ping, what do you want? Big brother Yuan. Are you angry with me? Brother. Zhao Ping, don't you know your family's attitude? Since they look down on us, then let's not interact with each other in the future, Qin Yuan said angrily. He felt that not only did he not vent his anger today, but he also lost face. Perhaps the third branch was too rich. Even if they opened a restaurant now, they didn't care about it. Brother Yuan, don't be angry. My mother is targeting me, not you. Let's not come here in the future, Zhao Ping hurriedly comforted him. They're ignoring me now. I'll wait for the day when they curry favor with me. Qin Yuan's eyes were gloomy as he said with a resolute face. The two of them returned to old Zhao's courtyard in a short while and chatted with old Zhao's family members for a while. Time passed very quickly. In the blink of an eye, the sun was about to set. Zhao Ping and Qin Yuan couldn't stay at old Zhao's place for the night, so they took the opportunity to go back before the sky turned dark. On the way back, Qin Yuan told Zhao Ping about the matter that he discussed with Zhao Xinhui. Zhao Ping, I have something to discuss with you. Qin Yuan had a straight face and was abnormally serious. Chapter 2097. Qin Yuan thought that since he would have to tell Zhao Ping about this matter sooner or later, he might as well tell Zhao Ping earlier. Thus, Qin Yuan said, Zhao Ping, I want to marry little aunt. I want to marry her officially and bring her back with a sedan chair. Zhao Ping was stunned. She thought that Qin Yuan was joking. Big brother Yuan, are you mistaken? You want to marry little aunt? I am your official wife. If you marry little aunt, it will definitely cause gossip. When that happens, our family will be laughed at in the village. Qin Yuan said with a straight face, Yes, I want to marry you, but haven't you already slept with my brother? My brother is a fool, so marrying you with a sedan chair is just to replace him. You are my brother's wife, not mine. Zhao Ping was stunned. She opened her mouth. Hearing Qin Yuan's words made her feel very sad. However, what he meant was that he wanted to push her away so that Qin Yuan could be together with Zhao Xinhui. Zhao Ping could not take it anymore. She shouted, Big brother Yuan, how can you treat me like this? Although I slept with that fool, I didn't do it willingly. Also, didn't I sleep with you? I am pregnant with your child now. You can't possibly abandon me, right? What kind of bewitching potion did my little aunt feed you? She is such a loose woman, yet you still want to marry her? When Qin Yuan heard Zhao Ping talk about Zhao Xinhui like that, his eyes became clouded with a layer of haze. He said coldly to Zhao Ping, don't be ungrateful. It is already good enough that I let you stay here. At least you're still in our family, Qin. In the future, we'll be able to live a good life together with you. If you don't know what's good for you, then I'll directly divorce you. Anyway, your family doesn't like you now. I want to see where you can go. You jealous woman, how dare you talk about little aunt? It was little aunt who wanted you to stay. Otherwise, I would have just divorced you. It would have saved me a lot of trouble. Qin Yuan looked as if he had taken advantage of Zhao Ping. When Zhao Ping heard this, she was even more confused. Big brother Yuan, how can you treat me like this? At the very least, we were once husband and wife. I lived a hard life with you. Now that life is better, you want to kick me away and be with Auntie. I won't do it. Big brother Yuan, I don't want to be separated from you. At most, I'll be your wife together with Auntie. Anyway, I can't be that fool's wife. Zhao Ping looked at Qin Yuan with hidden bitterness. Her eyes were red, and she looked like she was about to cry. Qin Yuan glanced at Zhao Ping. When he saw Zhao Ping's pitiful look, his heart softened. Although Zhao Ping was a little ugly and a little annoying, Zhao Ping was loyal to him. In this world, there was probably no one who was more loyal to him than Zhao Ping. Zhao Ping was willing to bear all the hardships for him. If there was anything good to eat, she would give it to him first. Now that their family was finally rich, it seemed a little too cruel for her to do all these things to Zhao Ping, or for him to be with Zhao Xinhui. However, he couldn't control his heart and yearned to be with Zhao Xinhui. Chapter 2098. When he met Zhao Ping's red eyes, Qin Yuan pursed his lips and said, Zhao Ping, do you want to be with me so badly? Zhao Ping nodded heavily and replied, yes, yes. Big brother Yuan, I love you so much. Of course, I want to be with you. Seeing Zhao Ping's resolute look, Qin Yuan felt even more upset. I can't do anything about it even if you like me. I still want to be with little aunt. Woman, if I don't divorce you or don't let you be my elder brother's wife, how can I marry little aunt? Don't tell me you want little aunt to be your concubine? After all, if Zhao Xinhui married Qin Yuan, she would be the last one to enter the family. Naturally, she would be the concubine. Zhao Xinhui was also an elder. In addition, with Zhao Xinhui's proud and arrogant personality, she would definitely not be willing to be the concubine. Zhao was silent for a moment, then said, Big brother Yuan, that's fine. At most, I'll be the concubine. It's fine as long as I can still be with you. Big brother Yuan, I really like you. Please don't abandon me, okay? If possible, Zhao Ping did not want to give in. After all, she was Qin Yuan's legal wife. There was still a reason for her to give up her man. Now, she only wanted to stay by Qin Yuan's side. At least, she could be together with Qin Yuan. When Zhao Ping said this, Qin Yuan felt even more embarrassed. If he casually abandoned Zhao Ping, wouldn't it make him seem like a heartless man? It was said that one should not abandon a wife who had gone through hardships together. No matter what, Zhao Ping was his first wife. She had suffered with him. Now that he had just opened a restaurant, it did not make sense for him to divorce Zhao Ping. But you and your aunt are aunt and niece after all. If I take the two of you, others will definitely gossip. When that happens, your aunt will definitely be unhappy. Zhao Ping thought about it and finally said, Big brother Yuan, why don't we do this? Just say that I'm that fool's wife. As long as you still acknowledge me in your heart, it's fine. We can still sleep together like now. We can sleep in Auntie's room for a few more days, as long as you come to my room occasionally a few times a month. Zhao Ping had swallowed her pride. She looked as if she was willing to give up everything in order to be with him. Qin Yuan could not bear to refuse her. Although he was not a good man, he still had some conscience. Then he sighed and said, All right then, we'll do as you say. Zhao Ping wiped the tears from her eyes and finally breathed a sigh of relief. She said to Qin Yuan, Big brother Yuan, you're so nice. I only want to be with you. Qin Yuan responded faintly and quickly shifted his gaze away from Zhao Yunner's face. Looking at Zhao Ping, like that made him feel that he was not a man. He simply stopped looking at Zhao Ping, and urged Zhao Ping, to continue driving. Only then did he feel better. In the end, humans were all selfish. They could disregard others for a few things. However, how many selfless people were there in this world who did not have some selfish desires? If one was born to live for others, what was the meaning of such a life? There were only a few decades to begin with. Living happily was the most important thing. Chapter 2099. As for old Zhao's family, they all tidied up and started preparing to cook. Jin Ju also hurried into the kitchen to help Feng Zhangxia prepare the meal. "Mother, I'm hungry. Hurry up and cook," Zhao Xinhui instructed Hua Chunhua. The weather was very hot, so her body was soft and she couldn't muster any strength. Now that Zhao Xinhui was ordering her to cook, she couldn't muster any strength. Mother's body is a little tired. Let's eat later." Hua Chunhua sighed and replied in a lazy tone. "Mother, what time is it? It's almost dark. If we don't go now, when are we going? Are we going to eat at night?" Zhao Xinhui said unhappily. Once she was hungry, she felt very uncomfortable. If she didn't eat immediately, she would feel uncomfortable. Hua Chunhua was a little helpless, but she really didn't want to cook. At this moment, she missed the time before they separated from the family. At that time, she didn't need to do the housework and cook. It was all done by a few daughters-in-law. Usually, she didn't need to do much work. It wasn't easy for her to become a mother-in-law and enjoy it. Unexpectedly, after they separated from the family, she didn't have the chance to enjoy it. If it was just her and Zhao Baoshan, it would be fine. The two of them would casually deal with it. But now, she had to serve Zhao Xinhui as if she was serving an ancestor. She didn't even have the chance to rest and catch her breath before she was urged by Zhao Xinhui to hurry up and cook. Why don't you go to your sister-in-law's place to get a meal? Mother wants to continue resting." As Hua Chunhua spoke, she shouted to Feng Zhangxia, "Eldest daughter-in-law, prepare more dishes tonight and let your younger sister have a meal with you." Feng Zhangxia, who was busy in the kitchen, was a little unhappy when she heard this. Now that they had separated from the family, why should she bring Zhao Xinhui to have a meal? It was fine if it was really just one meal, but she was afraid that Hua Chunhua would want a second time after the first time. After all, people were greedy and insatiable. What if she relied on the first branch in the future and often ate at their place? Who had so much food to waste? According to Hua Chunhua's stingy personality, she definitely wouldn't compensate them. She wasn't a fool. Why would she do such a thankless thing? Facing Hua Chunhua's request, Feng Zhangxia? She couldn't refuse and she muttered, "Mother, how can we have any good food to treat her? Younger sister definitely won't like those things you make them yourself." Hua Chunhua rolled her eyes at Feng Zhangxia. "Don't you have eggs at home? Can't you just make a few dishes for your younger sister to eat?" Seeing that Hua Chunhua said it so easily, Feng Zhangxia felt even more unhappy. Could it be that their eggs were obtained for free? An egg was worth 1 copper coin, so why should she make them for Zhao Xinhui? She couldn't even bear to eat them on normal days. Feng Zhangxia was very conflicted and said to Hua Chunhua, "Mother, how can the eggs at home be enough? The eggs that we laid were all eaten by Yang Yang. Children need to nourish their bodies." Hua Chunhua glanced at Feng Zhangxia in displeasure. This eldest daughter-in-law of hers was just as calculative as always and couldn't bear to be taken advantage of. "Aren't you just unwilling to part with a few eggs? You're Hui-er's sister-in-law, aren't you? What's wrong with letting her eat them?" Hua Chunhua reprimanded in dissatisfaction. Chapter 2100. Hua Chunhua snorted and said disdainfully, "You know best whether I'm overthinking it or not. Although we've separated from the family, you can't be so calculative as my sister-in-law, right? That girl and I even gave you jewelry that was worth at least a few taels of silver. Why, she gave you something good, so can't you make something delicious for her? You're still trying to make excuses." Hua Chunhua's words made Feng Zhangxia blush. What was she talking about? She made it sound like she was ungrateful. Mother, I'll cook, okay? As long as little sister doesn't dislike my cooking, it's fine. I'm just afraid that little sister won't like it. After all, my cooking isn't good. Hua Chunhua waved at Feng Zhangxia. Don't worry, your little sister isn't that picky. As long as the taste isn't bad, it's fine. After all, my cooking isn't good either. You're not much worse than me. Feng Zhangxia couldn't refuse, so she turned and went into the kitchen to cook. Zhao Xinhui didn't have any objections. In this old Zhao family, other than Zhao Yuner, everyone else cooked. Anyway, it wasn't good. Now that she was hungry, she would just make do with something to eat. Feng Zhangxia took out a few eggs, broke them and put them in a bowl. Then, she cut a few green peppers and mixed them together, preparing to make green pepper scrambled eggs. This was definitely a delicacy in the countryside. After all, the villagers were poor and couldn't even bear to eat an egg, let alone use it to make green pepper scrambled eggs. However, this bowl of green pepper scrambled egg white Zhao Xinhui made Feng Zhangxia feel a little indignant. She thought that if Zhao Xinhui liked it, she would definitely continue to make it for her. Only by making Zhao Xinhui feel that it tasted bad and not eat her cooking next time would she be satisfied. Staring at the eggs in the bowl, Feng Zhangxia deliberately added more salt to make the scrambled eggs saltier. It was so that Zhao Xinhui wouldn't eat it. After thinking about it, Feng Zhangxia's lips curled into a smile. She was looking forward to seeing Zhao Xinhui's reaction after eating it. Soon, Feng Zhangxia finished cooking scrambled eggs with green peppers and boiled a bowl of cabbage soup. However, there wasn't much oil in the soup. The rice in the pot was almost cooked. Together with the leftover pickles, Feng Zhangxia shouted at Zhao Xinhui, "Xiaomei, the food is ready. Come and eat." Zhao Xinhui replied indifferently, "Sister-in-law, bring it over to me." Feng Zhangxia was a little angry. This Zhao Xinhui really thought of himself as an ancestor. It was good enough that he cooked for her, but he still wanted her to bring it over personally. She was his sister-in-law after all. As a sister-in-law, shouldn't she respect her sister-in-law? How could he let his sister-in-law serve him? In addition, Feng Zhangxia had not served many people in her life. Zhao Xinhui's attitude made her very unhappy. "Mother, I'll bring it to Auntie," Jinju said when she saw Feng Zhangxia's expression darken. She knew that Feng Zhangxia was unwilling. Feng Zhangxia liked such a considerate daughter-in-law even more. Feng Zhangxia tugged the corners of her mouth and smiled. "Okay, the mother will go and scoop the food." The mother. Feng Zhangxia filled a bowl with rice and placed the scrambled eggs on another plate. Then, she took out an empty bowl and put some cabbage and pickles in it before passing it to Jinju. Jinju walked over to Zhao Xinhui with the plate in her hand and said to Zhao Xinhui, "Auntie, let's eat." Chapter 2101. Jinju's expression froze. She knew that Zhao Xinhui was disdainful. Actually, this kind of food was already considered the best in the countryside. One had to know that people usually only ate some wild vegetables and no eggs. Feng Zhangxia was almost angered to death by Zhao Xinhui when she heard this. She had worked so hard to prepare this meal, but in the end, she was disdained like this. If she could say it, she would definitely say that it was up to her whether she wanted to eat or not. If she didn't want to eat, then so be it. Did she really think that she was still in the Huang residence, being served with delicacies every day? "Auntie, then do you want to eat?" Jinju asked weakly. Seeing that Zhao Xinhui didn't take the plate, she stood in front of Zhao Xinhui awkwardly. Zhao Xinhui rolled her eyes at Jinju. "What do you think? What kind of taste did Tianhu have to find such a daughter-in-law? It's fine if you're usually dissolute, but you're also a little stupid. Our old Zhao family has never seen such a stupid person." After being scolded by Zhao Xinhui, Jinju's face turned red. She opened her mouth but didn't know what to say. Zhao Xinhui muttered again, "Although the food is a little bad, at least it's enough to fill my stomach. I'm starving to death now, what else can I eat other than this?" After all, there was still a green pepper scrambled egg. Green pepper scrambled egg went better with rice, so she could still make do with it. As she spoke, Zhao Xinhui reluctantly took the food from Jinju's hands. Then, she placed it on the table and sat down to eat. Jinju returned to the kitchen with a disappointed expression. Feng Zhangxia pulled Jinju aside and comforted her. Ju, don't listen to your auntie. She only knows how to scold others. She doesn't even take a look at herself. Mother, Feng Zhangxia patted the back of Jinju's hand. Alright, don't think so much. Just treat it as if you were bitten by a dog. Since you were bitten by a dog, you naturally shouldn't be so calculative with it. As long as mother knows that you're a good child, it's fine. Jinju looked at Feng Zhangxia emotionally. Actually, she didn't care what others thought of her as long as her parents-in-law and husband didn't misunderstand her. Putting away the disappointment on her face, Jinju pulled out a smile and nodded heavily. Yes, mother, I understand. It's good that you know. Feng Zhangxia also smiled. At this moment, Zhao Xinhui had just sat down to eat. He picked up a mouthful of egg and put it in his mouth. Before he could chew it, he quickly spat it out. Ba ba ba. Seeing Zhao Xinhui spit out the egg, Hua Chunhua hurriedly asked, what's wrong with you? Why did she vomit while eating? Eggs are also considered a good thing. You can't waste them. If you don't like to eat them, mother will eat them. Zhao Xinhui frowned and complained, Mother, this egg is too salty. I can eat it. Is that so? Hua Chunhua asked suspiciously. Zhao Xinhui pushed the egg in front of Hua Chunhua and called out to Hua Chunhua, Mother, why don't you try it yourself and you'll know. Hua Chunhua picked up a piece and put it in her mouth. Like Zhao Xinhui, she quickly spat it out after eating it. Ba ba ba, it's indeed too salty. How much salt did you put in? Hua Chunhua muttered with a frown. If it was slightly salty, she could still make do with it. After all, she couldn't let the egg go to waste. However, she couldn't eat it at all. Before it even entered her mouth, she wanted to spit it out. Chapter 2102. Hua Chunhua asked angrily, Then what should we do? I think we should just eat some cabbage. It's fine as long as it can fill our stomachs. Zhao Xinhui was immediately displeased. No, mother, I can't eat these dishes. I can't even eat a single bite. Hurry up and think of something for me. I'm starving to death. My body isn't good to begin with. Let's not talk about how much good food I can eat. Can it fill my stomachs? Seeing that Zhao Xinhui was pestering her again, Hua Chunhua said, It'll take you a long time to cook. I'll go to your fourth sister-in-law's place to see if there's any. Before going to Qian Zhuzhui's kitchen, Hua Chunhua first went to look for Feng Zhangxia and blamed her for the matter. Eldest daughter-in-law, did you do it on purpose? I asked you to cook for your little sister, but you put so much salt in the eggs. How can she eat them? Feng Zhangxia pretended to be wronged. Mother, what are you talking about? I've already cooked for my little sister. Why would I put more salt on purpose? But if she can't eat them, wouldn't it be a waste? Mother, I've already told you that I'm not good at cooking. The dishes I cook are either bland or salty. What can I do if you don't believe me? Don't put on an act in front of me. Do you really think that this old woman doesn't know anything? Mother, eldest daughter-in-law, I know that you're a calculative person. Since you can't bear to part with it, then forget it. I can't be bothered to covet your things. Now that Qin Yuan has opened a restaurant, you can bring Hui, or live a good life. When that time comes, don't even think about currying favor with them. As Hua Chunhua spoke, she glanced at Feng Zhangxia, then turned around angrily and walked towards Qian Zhuzhui's kitchen. Feng Zhangxia pursed her lips and muttered, Who cares? Isn't it just opening a restaurant? Even if the business is booming, it doesn't mean that we have to bring Zhao Xinhui to live a good life. What's the point of showing off now? Moreover, once her sky dragon passed the exam and became a high-ranking official, her good days would come. Why would she need to curry favor with others? This old woman was just talking nonsense. She was really daydreaming. Feng Zhangxia still felt that she had done the right thing this time. No matter what, that old woman and Zhao Xinhui would never ask her for food again. Little Ju, let's get ready to eat. Tonight, I just made 2 dishes to fill our stomachs. Tomorrow, let's go to the restaurant and eat to our heart's content. Feng Zhangxia was in a good mood and greeted Jinju. Jinju responded, not knowing what to say. She felt that there was something weird going on between the members of old Zhao's family. On the surface, they seemed to be fine, but behind their backs, they seemed to be fighting. Hua Chunhua wandered into Qian Zhonghu's kitchen. At this time, Qian Zhonghu had just finished cooking. Hua Chunhua craned her neck to take a look. She wanted to see what delicious food Qian Zhuzhe had made. He glanced at the dishes on the stove. They were all very simple dishes. However, there was a dish of steamed fish. Hua Chunhua's eyes immediately lit up. Although to the villagers, fish was not as good as meat, it was still something that had been dipped in meat. Naturally, it was better than meat. Qian Zhonghu's steamed fish looked very good. It should taste good too. If she brought it over to Zhao Xinhui to eat, Zhao Xinhui would definitely be happy. When Qian Zhonghu saw Hua Chunhua coming over, she hurriedly asked Hua Chunhua, "Mother, what's wrong? Why are you here?" Chapter 2103. Qian Zhurong was not a foolish person. Although she was a good person, she was not as honest and straightforward as Liang Jinqiao, who would easily be taken advantage of. She was shrewd where she should be, so she rarely suffered losses at old Zhao's house. Now that Hua Chunhua wanted to take advantage of her, Qian Zhurong naturally would not back down so easily. Qian Zhurong pursed her lips and said, "Mother, we don't have any good dishes at home tonight, so we only made some fish to nourish the children's bodies. They made a fuss for a long time, so we went to buy them a fish to satisfy their cravings today. Also, Tianyu and second brother, we have to bring them to eat. We don't have any other good dishes at home, so at least some fish and fish soup is something that can go well with the meal. Especially second brother. He's lying in bed now, injured beyond recognition. We really should get something to nourish him. Otherwise, I think his body will get worse and worse." Hua Chunhua did not care about these things at all. Instead, she disdainfully said to Qian Zhurong, "We're going to eat at the big restaurant in Yang City tomorrow. What do you want to eat? There will be fish and meat, so the children can eat more to satisfy their cravings. Tonight's steamed fish can be eaten by your little sister. Fourth brother's wife, you know that the children of Qin Yuan invited us to eat because of your little sister. Otherwise, do you think they would have taken advantage of us for nothing?" Hua Chunhua's meaning was clear. Since the fourth branch could eat at the restaurant tomorrow thanks to Zhao Xinhui, it was not too much to give up a fish now. Qian Zhurong glanced at the bowl of fish on the plate and was still reluctant to give it up. She stammered, "But mother, you know that Tianyu and second brother are very picky. I'm afraid they won't eat unless there's a meat dish." Hua Chunhua snorted softly, "If they don't want to eat, then forget it. Why do you have to drag them to eat? Tianyu has been spoiled. Now that second brother's wife is not here, you don't have to think of ways to make good food for her. As for second brother, why don't you think about what you've done and still want to serve him well?" Now that Hua Chunhua had said that, Qian Zhuzhe didn't know what to say. At the same time, he knew that he would be scolded by Hua Chunhua again if he didn't give it to her. Now that he thought about it, it was just a fish, and he had only spent 4 copper coins to buy it. So what if he let Zhao Xinhui eat it? When they arrived at the restaurant tomorrow, how many good things would they not be able to eat? He could save some space in his stomach for tomorrow. Thus, Qian Zhurong replied, "All right, mother. Let's give it to little sister then. But can you deliver some food to second brother? I saw that second brother was in a bad mood, so I didn't dare to send him such a meal. I was afraid that he would criticize me." Hua Chunhua rolled her eyes and said, "All right then. Scoop the food and I'll send it over." "All right." Qian Zhonghui responded and quickly filled a bowl with rice. She picked up some vegetables and salted vegetables and handed it to Hua Chunhua. After Hua Chunhua took it, she eagerly walked towards the second branch's room. At this moment, Zhao Wenshui was still lying on the bed, half dead. After lying down for so long, his injuries had healed and he could even move a little. However, he felt that his body was even weaker. It was probably caused by his injuries. Chapter 2104. Hua Chunhua was a little angry when she saw Zhao Wenshui like this. What kind of lousy son did she give birth to? People said that raising a child would prepare one for one's old age, but she still had to take care of her son when she was old. How could she be like this? Of course, The good thing was that not all of her sons were like Zhao Wenshui. Her eldest, third, and fourth sons were all pretty good. It was only her second son who loved to cause trouble on a daily basis. She didn't know how much he had embarrassed the Zhao family. Now, he was lying on the bed half dead and had to be supported by her when he ate. Faced with Hua Chuanhua's sullen face, Zhao Wenshui's heart tightened. Then he muttered pitifully, "Mother, what's wrong with you? Just help me. I really can't sit up. My body hurts so much, and I'm so weak that I can't support much strength." Hua Chunhua glared at Zhao Wenshui angrily. After all, he was her son. Even if she disliked him, she couldn't ignore him like other people. It would have been fine if she hadn't seen Zhao Wenshui. As the saying went, out of sight, out of mind. Now that she saw him, she couldn't just ignore him. She could only walk to the bed and help Zhao Wenshui up so that Zhao Wenshui could sit against the edge of the bed. After helping Zhao Wenshui, Hua Chunhua continued to scold him unwillingly. "What sins have I committed to raise such a son? He's really a debt collector. He only knows how to torture me." Zhao Wenshui pursed his lips aggrievedly. "Mother, do you dislike me? Look at you. Who wouldn't dislike you? You're just like a ghost. Would you become like this if you stopped? Mother, I'm already like this. What are you still talking about? If Big Brother didn't beat me up, I wouldn't be so miserable." Hua Chunhua snorted coldly. "You have the nerve to blame your big brother. Why don't you think about what you've done?" Mother, Hua Chunhua was too lazy to talk to Zhao Wenshui. She directly handed the food to Zhao Wenshui. "Dinner. Second brother, you don't need me to feed you, do you?" "Mother, it's not convenient for me. Why don't you feed me?" Zhao Wenshui smiled fawningly. Hua Chunhua could not control her emotions. She scolded Zhao Wenshui, "You're really an idiot. You're not only injured, but your hands are also disabled. You even need someone to feed you. If you don't want to eat, then forget it. I'll take it away for you. You can continue to starve. It's not the life of a master, yet you treat me like one. You're always thinking of getting others to serve you." Seeing that Hua Chunhua was about to take the food away, Zhao Wenshui hurriedly said, "Mother, can I eat by myself? I'm about to starve to death. If I don't eat now, I'll be finished." Hua Chunhua finally calmed down and handed the food to Zhao Wenshui. Zhao Wenshui immediately became unhappy when he saw the food in the bowl. He questioned Hua Chunhua. "Mother, fourth sister-in-law said that there would be fish to eat tonight. Why don't I see any fish? How can I eat such food? There's no oil in the food at all. I can't swallow it at all." Hua Chunhua unhappily replied, "You're already like this and you're still so picky. It's good enough that there's something to eat. Don't tell me you expect me to make you delicacies? Now that your wife has run away, if it weren't for your fourth sister-in-law still paying attention to you, I think you would have died in the room. No matter how bad the food is, you can still make do with it. At least you won't starve to death after eating it." Chapter 2105. When Hua Chunhua saw how concerned Zhao Wenshui was, she finally understood why Qian Zurio asked her to deliver the food to Zhao Wenshui's room. If Qian Zurio had delivered the food herself, Zhao Wenshui would have to pester Qian Zurio again and nag her nonstop. Hua Chunhua replied with a straight face, "Your fourth sister-in-law did make fish." "Mother, where is the fish?" Zhao Wenshui impatiently asked. Hua Chunhua's lips twitched. "She gave it to your little sister." Zhao Wenshui was instantly unhappy. "Mother, how can you give it to little sister? Why did little sister eat the food that fourth sister-in-law made? Aren't you in charge of little sister's meals? Can't you just cook for little sister? Why did you have to take the fish away from fourth sister-in-law's room?" Zhao Wenshui's heart ached at the thought of the fish that he could have eaten flying into Zhao Xinhui's mouth. He thought about how he hadn't eaten anything good during this period of time and how he had waited for Qian Zurio to make a fish for him. Great, now it was snatched away by Zhao Xinhui. "I was too lazy to cook today, so I let your little sister freeload a meal at your fourth sister-in-law's place. There is only one fish dish left at home and your little sister is picky, so I naturally gave the fish to her." Hua Chunhua explained impatiently. Zhao Wenshui was even angrier when he didn't know the reason. With a red face, he angrily complained in front of Hua Chunhua. Mother, you are so biased. You only know how to leave the good food for little sister. You don't even think about me, your son. Isn't little sister eating and drinking good food every day enough? Now you have to take away the fish that I was looking forward to. Am I supposed to eat this kind of food? What's wrong with her making do with it? She has the most comfortable life in the entire family. Mother, you have to serve her every day. The more Zhao Wenxue spoke, the more aggrieved he felt. Other mothers doted on their sons and knew to leave good food and drink for their sons. However, it was different in his family. Zhao Wenxue naturally couldn't understand why Hua Chunhua treasured Zhao Xinhui so much. If she was like other families with many sons and daughters, she wouldn't be so precious. Hua Chunhua said coldly, "Brat, how can you be compared to your little sister? You only know how to cause trouble for this old woman, but your little sister is different. She brought back so much money, so it's only right for me to provide her with good food and drinks. Weren't all the good things she ate and spent her own money? If you have the ability, you can't have anything good food, but you don't have that ability. Don't compare yourself to your little sister. It's good enough that you have food. If you're picky, you'll probably starve to death in a few days." After hearing Hua Chunhua's reprimand, Zhao Wenxue still felt aggrieved. In the end, wasn't it all because of money? If he had that much money, he wouldn't have thought about getting food from old Zhao's family. He would have just hired someone to cook for him all day long. Mother, you're biased. Forget it. I'll eat, okay? Zhao Wenxue held the bowl and ate angrily. Anyway, he knew that it was impossible to get the fish back. He had to make do with it now. At least he wouldn't go hungry. Hua Chunhua put away the disdainful expression on her face. She waited for Zhao Wenxue to finish eating so she could take the bowl out. Chapter 2106. Even though he was lying in bed and in the room at the time, the people in the room were very happy. But at that time, the people in the courtyard were very happy. He also vaguely heard that Qin Yuan's restaurant had opened and wanted to invite the Zhao family over for a meal. In a restaurant in Yang City, there had to be good food and wine to entertain them. Meat dishes were not to be missed either. Zhao Wenxue felt that he urgently needed to eat good food to nourish his body, so he couldn't miss out on such a lively event. Thus, he smiled slyly and said to Hua Chunhua, "Mom, take me with you to the restaurant tomorrow." Hua Chunhua rolled her eyes at Zhao Wenxue. "You want to eat in this state? I think you should stop tormenting yourself." Zhao Wenxue panicked at Hua Chunhua's refusal. He looked at Hua Chunhua bitterly and begged, "Mom, just take me with you. It's not like we're using our family's money. One more person won't make a difference." Although Zhao Wenshue's words made sense, Hua Chunhua still said reluctantly, "It's troublesome to take you with us. Look at you, lying on the bed with such serious injuries, who would be able to carry you there? Besides, even if you're at the table, no one dares to get close to you. What if they hurt you? Who knows what to do?" Hua Chunhua's words meant that she disliked Zhao Wenxue and didn't want to take Zhao Wenxue with them. However, Zhao Wenxue wanted to take him with them. "Mum, just let fifth brother carry me. Aren't we going to take the ox cart? Just let fifth brother carry me on the ox cart. My injury is better now, so I'll be fine if I pay attention to these things. Mom, I just want to sit down and have a meal with all of you and drink some wine. We can't all go with old Zhao and leave me alone at home, right?" Hua Chunhua was too lazy to say anything more to Zhao Wenxue. "Okay, don't talk about it anymore. Don't think about those unrealistic things. Since you're so badly injured, you should stay at home and recuperate. Anyway, Brother Ming won't bring you along to eat." Zhao Wenxue was so anxious that he almost cried. He pursed his lips and said, "Mother, how can you be like this? How can you be so heartless? I'm your son. Why don't you bring me along when there's something good?" Hua Chunhua glared at Zhao Wenxue. "Don't make a fuss. I'm afraid you'll die on the way. Can't you just lie down in the house? I think if you go out with us, your big brother will give you a beating when he sees you." At the mention of Zhao Wenxue immediately cowered. Shivering, she could only bitterly reply, "Mother, if you don't want to go, then don't go. But since you're going to eat, can you pack some for me so that I can have a taste of it?" Hu Chunhua's eyes turned. She felt that Zhao Wenshui's suggestion was good. She used the excuse of bringing some for Zhao Wenshui and asked Qin Yuan and the others to pack more for her. The rest would be left for Zhao Xinhui to eat slowly. Just lie down in the house. I'll bring some for you tomorrow. The mother. You must remember. Don't forget. Otherwise, I'll be the only one who can't have a good meal. It's so pitiful. Don't worry. My memory isn't that bad. I'll remember it for you. Zhao Wenshui repeatedly reminded her several times before he was relieved. Hu Chunhua left Zhao Wenshui's house and went back to rest early. Chapter 2107. Although they would feel a little hungry at night, they would feel better after a good night's sleep. Naturally, they wouldn't feel hungry when they were asleep. The next morning, old Zhao's family woke up early and prepared to go to Yang City together. It was a long journey to Yang City on foot, but no one planned to walk there. Instead, they woke up early and drove the ox cart. Hence, the family took the ox cart to Yang City. Zhao Yun's family was different from the rest of old Zhao's family. The rest of the family usually didn't have anything good to eat. Now that they had a chance to eat and drink for free, they were naturally happy and couldn't wait to rush over. They wanted to eat the food in the restaurant as soon as possible. However, Zhao Yun's family was different. Zhao Yun's family usually ate very good food. They didn't want to take advantage of this and couldn't wait to eat. As usual, they woke up naturally. They drove Xiao Mao and Mu Lianfeng's carriage and followed old Zhao's family to Yang City. They went to find the restaurant opened by Zhao Ping and Qin Yuan. This restaurant could only be said to be of average quality. The market was also average. After all, they didn't have much capital and could only rent a shop like this. Yang City was more prosperous. There were many other luxurious restaurants. Of course, they were all for the rich. Zhao Ping and Qin Yuan's restaurant was already very grand and luxurious in the eyes of the villagers. For the villagers, they couldn't even set up a small stall in Yang City, let alone open a restaurant. No matter how hard they worked, they couldn't earn money faster than doing business. Old Zhao's family looked at the newly decorated restaurant and began to click their tongues in admiration. Aya, Ping and her husband are really amazing. They opened such a big restaurant. How much money do they earn in a day? Feng Zhangxia stared at Zhao Ping's restaurant with envy. Zhao Xinhui snorted. Sister-in-law, how much money he earns has nothing to do with you. Anyway, you don't have to worry about it. Feng Zhangxia pursed her lips awkwardly and said, Little sister, I was just saying it casually. Even if I wanted to, I couldn't. Zhao Xinhui smiled. It's good that you know. Looking at such a big restaurant, Zhao Xinhui's eyes were filled with pride. Others might not know, but she knew very well that this restaurant was opened by Zhao Ping and Qin Yuan together, but she was the one who paid for it. Later on, when she was together with Qin Yuan, she would be in control of the restaurant's income. Zhao Xinhui was in a good mood when he thought about how he could live a prosperous life with this restaurant in the future. The other members of old Zhao's family had not seen much of the world. As soon as they entered the restaurant, they looked left and right curiously. The children couldn't help but reach out their hands and touch everything around them. With so many people here, Zhao Ping had to act like a lady boss and direct the restaurant's hired workers to work. Because the restaurant needed to be busy, she arranged for a few waiters and a few people to work in the kitchen. She spent some money to hire a good chef, just to make sure that the dishes tasted good. After all, the restaurant was about taste. Customers would only be willing to come if the dishes were delicious. They were not a high-end restaurant, so they could only rely on taste to win. In addition, their pig offal was a specialty dish, so their business would not be too bad in the future. Chapter 2108. Old Zhao's family members also agreed very respectfully, making Zhao Ping burst with joy. At this time, seeing the children jumping around and touching in the restaurant, Zhao Ping was a little angry and reprimanded them. Be careful. The chairs and stools are all new. If you break them, are you going to pay for them? Seeing Zhao Ping put her hands on her hips and look fierce, the children were frightened. Zhao Tianyu was usually very arrogant and domineering. Compared to the children of the fourth branch, Zhao Tianyu made Zhao Ping stick out her tongue, and then he said somewhat rudely, "Ugly, why are you so fierce?" Zhao Ping suddenly became angry. What she hated the most was others calling her ugly. If it was an adult who said it, it would be fine, but a child like Zhao Tianyu also came to complain about her. He was simply too audacious and tired of living. Zhao Ping angrily walked to Zhao Tianyu, grabbed his ear, and fiercely scolded him. "Who are you calling ugly?" Zhao Tianyu struggled and complained about the pain. Then he angrily said to Zhao Ping, "I'm calling you. You're ugly, I didn't say anything wrong. If you're not ugly, then what are you? If you don't believe me, ask others and see if they say you're ugly." "Good for you." Zhao Ping became even angrier. He was just a little brat, but he dared to be so fierce in front of her. It seemed that she had to teach him a lesson. If she didn't teach this kind of brat a lesson, she wouldn't know what was wrong. Zhao Ping patted Zhao Tianyu's head a few times. "You brat who doesn't know the rules. No matter what, I'm still your cousin. Who do you think you are?" Zhao Tianyu cried out in pain. Then he turned to Hua Chunhua and Zhao Baoshan and asked for help. "Grandpa, Grandma, save me. The ugly woman is bullying me." Hua Chunhua was originally looking at the restaurant, but when she heard Zhao Tianyu's cries, she shifted her attention back to Zhao Ping, who was dealing with Zhao Tianyu. No matter what, Zhao Tianyu was Hua Chunhua's grandson. Hua Chunhua defended him. "Well, Ping, girl, I think we should forget about it. Tianyu is a child. Don't be calculative with him. Children speak without thinking." Zhao Baoshan added, "That's right. He's just a kid who doesn't know any better. Ping, you're the older sister. Don't be so calculative with Tianyu." Zhao Ping was not in a good mood. Looking at Zhao Tianyu, she was very angry and replied unhappily. "So what if he's a kid? Can a kid be so insensible and do bad things? I'm teaching him a lesson for his own good. I want him to learn the rules." As Zhao Ping spoke, she slapped Zhao Tianyu's head a few times. The strength of her slaps was not small. She was not worried about hurting Zhao Tianyu at all. Zhao Baoshan and Hua Chunhua stood at the side, not knowing how to persuade her. Today, they were going to eat at Zhao Ping's restaurant. No matter what, they should give in to Zhao Ping. They could not say too much, lest Zhao Ping got angry. What if she kicked them out before they could eat? After getting a free meal, no one wanted to give it up so easily. Hua Chunhua looked at Zhao Tianyu with heartache. She muttered in her heart, "Zhao Tianyu is really too naughty. Doesn't he know what occasion it is today? Does he have to offend Zhao Ping to be happy?" When Zhao Tianyu saw that Hua Chunhua and Zhao Baoshan did not say anything and had no intention of helping him, he tactfully stopped shouting. He also did not call Zhao Ping ugly. Chapter 2109. He used to be arrogant and despotic, but that was because he had Li Chuang's protection. As long as Li Chuang was around, no one could bully him. But now that he no longer had Li Chuang's protection, Hua Chunhua and Zhao Baoshan did not have the latter's intention. If he continued to cause trouble, he would only be at a disadvantage. After all, he was not a fool and knew how to lose face. It was obvious that everyone was on Zhao Ping's side. Seeing that Zhao Tianyu was obedient, Zhao Ping let go of her hand and pushed Zhao Tianyu to the side. "If I hear you call me ugly again, I'll beat you up every time I see you," Zhao Ping warned. Zhao Tianyu was so scared that he shrank behind Hua Chunhua and Zhao Baoshan. Hua Chunhua also warned Zhao Tianyu, "Tianyu, don't cause trouble again. If you make your cousin angry, you won't get to eat a single piece of meat later." Hua Chunhua's threat hit Zhao Tianyu's weakness. He was looking forward to eating meat. Not giving him meat was worse than being beaten up. Zhao Tianyu hurriedly replied, "Grandma, I understand. I won't dare to make my cousin angry again." "That's good." Qian Zhenhua also warned her children, "You guys be careful too. Don't cause too much trouble. If your cousin is unhappy, no one will be able to eat good food." The children were all very careful, afraid that they would cause more trouble. Zhao Yun and her family followed behind. Liang Jinxiao and Zhao Wenhua got out of the car first and stood in front of the restaurant. They were a little surprised. They originally thought that Zhao Ping and Qin Yuan's restaurant was just a small one and not very grand. Now that they were here, they realized that the restaurant was actually quite big. Although it could not be compared to the luxurious restaurants in Sun City, it was still not bad. How could an ordinary family have so much money to open such a restaurant? Moreover, if he continued to operate it, the daily income would definitely not be small. It seemed that he had underestimated his daughter and son-in-law. Zhao Wenhua whispered into Liang Jinxiao's ear, "Yun'er's mother, Pinger's restaurant is not bad." Liang Jinxiao nodded and replied, "Yes, it's not bad. It's quite big. Ping, and that kid from Qin Yuan must have made a lot of money recently. It's fine as long as she's living well. Compared to before, she's much better now. You can worry less in the future. You don't have to worry about her not having enough to eat after she marries into a family Qin family. Well, this is her own good fortune. But I don't care whether she earns money or not. That's her own business. No matter how rich she is, I won't try to curry favor with her," Liang Jinxiao said calmly. Liang Jinxiao did not show much excitement when he heard that Zhao Pinger had opened such a big restaurant. Zhao Wenhua knew that Liang Jinxiao held a grudge against Zhao Pinger, so he did not say anything. The family walked towards the restaurant. Zhao Yun'er, Mu Lianfeng, and Dao Du alighted from the carriage. Zhao Yun'er was carrying Tian Tian in her arms. The child was still young. Perhaps she was carsick from sitting in the carriage, but she seemed a little uncomfortable. Zhao Yun'er kept coaxing her. After coaxing her to Yang City, Tian Tian fell asleep in her arms. Mu Lianfeng carefully helped Zhao Yun'er down and nagged Zhao Yun'er, "Yun'er, be gentle. Don't wake Tian Tian up." Zhao Yun'er smiled. "Yes. Look at how nervous you are. Actually, it doesn't matter if she wakes up. This child is not troublesome. It's easier to take care of her." Chapter 21:10. After taking care of a child for a while, Mu Lianfeng knew that it was not easy to take care of a child, so his heart ached for Zhao Yun. "It's okay." Zhao Yun'er smiled. Her smile was tranquil. Looking at the happiness on Zhao Yun'er's face, Mu Lianfeng's lips also curled up into a smile. Now that he had Dao Du and Tian Tian with him, Mu Lianfeng felt that this was the warmth of a family. Being able to stay with Zhao Yun was his greatest happiness. The few of them entered the restaurant together. It was the first day of the restaurant's opening. For business people, the first day of opening was a joyous occasion. The restaurant was decorated with some red cloth, and they were even preparing to set off firecrackers and get wedding candies. Of course, there were many discounts on food and wine a few days before the opening, especially on the first day. They gave out a 20% discount and even gave out free gifts. When news of this kind of discount was released, many people came to watch the fun. In addition, people wanted to join in the fun. Zhao Ping and Qin Yuan naturally did not think of such a method. According to Zhao Ping, they would only give out a 50% discount on the first day of opening. The 20% discount would only cover the cost. How could business people let themselves lose money? After Ma Xiaofeng's persuasion, Zhao Ping and Qin Yuan finally agreed. The most important thing in business was to make a name for oneself. If there were more discounts on the first day, people would come to take a look and try it. Their special pig offal would definitely be popular. As long as the food and wine tasted good, people might come again after eating it once. Others had not eaten it before. Their restaurant was not a high-end restaurant. It was not very eye-catching among the many restaurants in Yang City. It would be difficult to attract people who had not eaten it before. As for Zhao Ping and Qin Yuan, they were completely focused on the few days of interest. In fact, for the future, not to mention not making money on the first few days of opening, it was fine to lose more money. If they could attract customers, they would earn back the money with a few more customers in the future. Indeed, as Ma Xiaofeng said, many people in Yang City came over when they heard about the restaurant's promotion. Originally, he was planning to go to another restaurant to eat. He thought that Zhao Pinger's restaurant had a 20% discount and that it was a mid-range restaurant, so it wasn't bad. He could also get gifts. Since he could spend less and get more benefits, he would definitely choose to eat at this restaurant. Furthermore, Zhao Pinger's restaurant didn't look too shabby. It wasn't a small restaurant that wasn't presentable. Seeing that it was about time, Zhao Pinger called out to Qin Yuan and said, "Big brother Yuan, go set off the firecrackers." Many people came. Let's prepare to open. Zhao. Brother Yuan, I'm a woman. How would I dare to set off the firecrackers? You're a man. Of course. Qin Yuan said unhappily, "You're scared? You're scared of me, but I'm not? What if I get hit by the explosion? I heard from Ma Xiaofeng that your uncle was hit by the explosion when he set off the firecrackers. He had to lie in bed for a long time." Qin Yuan was thinking that it would be fine if the explosion hit him. He could bear with it and it would be over. At most, he would be like Zhao Wenshui, lying in bed and resting for a period of time. But if the explosion hit his face, then he would be done for. He relied on this handsome face. If his handsome face was gone, little Ant might not like him anymore. Hence, he had to protect this face well. Chapter 21:11. Qin Yuan caught a glimpse of old Zhao's men and said to Zhaoping, there are so many freeloaders at your house. It's not too much to ask them to set off some fireworks, right? Your grandfather, eldest uncle, father, and fourth uncle can all do it." Zhao Ping'er's eyes darted around. She saw Qin Yuan touch his handsome face again. "What's more, aren't you afraid that your man's face will be disfigured?" Zhao Ping'er immediately panicked when she heard Qin Yuan's words. She only got together with Qin Yuan because she fancied Qin Yuan's face. If Qin Yuan's face was disfigured, it would be a terrible thing for her. Zhao Ping'er hurriedly said, "Okay, Big brother Yuan, you'd better not set off the fireworks. Your face is so handsome. It's really a pity. I'll ask my eldest uncle and fourth uncle to set it off. Since we're freeloading, I'll definitely help you with this small favor. Go quickly." Qin Yuan waved at Zhao Ping. Zhao Ping entered the restaurant and greeted Zhao Wenshu and Zhao Wentao, asking them to help set off the firecrackers. After all, gifts blind the eyes. Setting off the firecrackers was a small matter for the whole family to come over for a big meal. If they refused, it would be too much. Zhao Wenshu said, "Fourth brother, go set it off. I was injured by the firecrackers last time and am very scared. I can't set them off." Zhao Wentao was still very easy to talk to. He knew that Zhao Wenshu was indeed badly injured by the firecrackers last time, so he agreed. "Then I'll go set them off." As he spoke, he walked out of the restaurant and went to the entrance of the restaurant. Since it was the opening day, Zhao Ping was not stingy when it came to firecrackers. She bought a very large firecracker. After Zhao Wentao ordered it, the firecrackers began to explode. The loud noise was accompanied by the smell of gunpowder that wafted into the house. However, the people outside who wanted to join in the fun were very happy. Zhao Ping was carrying a bag with some candies in it. Zhao Ping grabbed a handful and scattered them on the ground. Many people came over to snatch them. But at the same time, it was also very lively. Looking at the situation, the restaurant was probably full of customers today, and they would be busy for the next few days. The loud sound of firecrackers woke Tian Tian up. Tian Tian opened her sleepy eyes and squeaked at Zhao Yun. Looking at Tian Tian's quiet and beautiful face, Zhao Yuner smiled and coaxed her. "Tianan, you can't sleep, right? Were you scared just now?" "Yeah." Tian Tian waved her little hand. Zhao Yuner couldn't understand what Tian Tian was trying to say. Daodu lay on Zhao Yuner's lap and looked at Tian Tian in Zhao Yuner's arms. He chuckled and said, "Mother, with Daodu protecting Tianan, Tianan won't be scared." Daodu isn't afraid of firecrackers?" Zhao Yuner asked jokingly. Zhao Yuner remembered that Daodu used to be afraid of firecrackers. Was he trying to be brave now? Daodu hesitated for a moment, then puffed out his chest and said to Zhao Yuner, "I'm not afraid." In order to protect little sister Tian Tian, Daodu isn't afraid of anything. Although Daodu was only a child of a few years old, at this moment he had the bearing of a man. Zhao Yuner looked at him and smiled happily. As they spoke, the firecrackers outside were almost finished. Daodu wanted to go out and grab some candies to join in the fun, but he was stopped by Zhao Yuna. Chapter 21:12. But it wasn't worth it just for some candy. If they wanted to eat candy, they could just spend some money to buy it. Their family didn't lack money now. Daodu, it's too crowded outside. It's not safe. You'll get hurt if you fall. Mother will buy you whatever you want to eat later. Daodu looked at the bustling scene outside and a hint of disappointment appeared in his eyes. Actually, he didn't really want to eat candy. There were so many delicious things at home that he couldn't finish them all. Now was not like before. In the past, he really did like to eat candy. He just felt that it was very lively outside and wanted to go out and join in the fun. But his mother didn't want him to go out, so he obediently stayed inside. "Okay, mother. Then Daodu won't snatch the candy," Daodu said in a soft voice. Zhao Yun smiled and praised, "Daodu is so obedient." A sweet smile appeared on Daodu's little face. Old Zhao's few older children had already rushed out when they saw that the candy was being scattered. They joined the crowd in snatching the candy. The one who snatched the most was Zhao Tianyu. Just like before, he was a little tyrant at home. After this round of snatching, he had a lot of candy in his pocket. At this moment, Liang Jinfen was shopping with his family on the streets. They just happened to pass by Zhao Ping'er's restaurant. When they saw so many people crowded together, they couldn't help but stretch their heads to take a look. Someone shouted from the side, "Hurry up and snatch it, hurry up and snatch it." Liang Jinfen couldn't hold back his curiosity. He pulled the person beside him and asked, "What are you guys snatching in such a hurry?" The person who was pulled aside casually explained, "This restaurant just opened. It's the first day and it's just for the fun. They're scattering candy now. We're going to snatch the candy." After saying that, he pulled his arm and said, "Stop pulling me. I have to hurry up. If I'm late, I won't be able to snatch it." Liang Jinfen's eyes lit up when he heard that. Candy was good stuff. Most people wouldn't be willing to buy it. It tasted sweet. If such a good thing could be obtained for free, wouldn't he be a fool not to snatch it? Liang Jinfen quickly tugged at Su Lady and said, "What are you waiting for? Didn't you hear that you can snatch the candy? Let's go and snatch it." Su Lady was stunned for a moment before he caught up with Liang Jinfen and ran towards the crowd. Fortunately, she managed to grab a few candies before the game ended. Liang Jinfen put the candy into his pocket with satisfaction. Although it wasn't much, at least there were a few. Anyway, it was free money. Just as Liang Jinfen was about to leave, Su Lady tugged at Liang Jinfen's hand and said, "Mother, isn't that Zhao Ping?" Liang Jinfen was stunned. He could not help but spit out a few words, "That's impossible, right?" However, as soon as he said that, he saw Zhao Ping. Even if Liang Jinfen didn't want to believe it, he had no choice but to believe it when he saw Zhao Ping. Liang Jinfen rubbed his eyes and opened his mouth. He stared at Zhao Ping in shock. "Is that really Zhao Ping?" Su Lady said from the side, "Mother, both of us saw it. How can it be wrong? Besides, Zhao Ping is so ugly. How many people look like her? There can't be anyone who looks like her, right?" Liang Jinfen thought about it and agreed. There weren't many people who were as ugly and unique as Zhao Ping. But then, did that mean that this restaurant was opened by Zhao Ping? Chapter 21:13. How could a pauper like her open a restaurant? It might be possible if her elder sister's family opened it, but Liang Jinfen felt that Zhao Ping did not have the ability to open a restaurant. Could it be that Ping girl opened it? Liang Jinfen muttered. Su Lady said, "She's acting like a lady boss. Who else could it be? Could it be that she's here to help?" Su Lady shook her head. If she's here to help, then it's someone else's restaurant. Why is she so happy? It can't be, right? After listening to Su Lady's analysis, the possibility of this restaurant being opened by Zhao Ping was very high. Liang Jinfen suddenly felt an indescribable pain in her heart. In the past, she flaunted her superiority in front of Liang Jinxiao's family. At that time, her family's life was indeed better than that of Liang Jinxiao's family. However, things suddenly changed this year. She did not know what happened to her elder sister's family, but they suddenly became rich. If only her family became rich, then it would be fine. At least Zhao Ping had married into a poor family. She could mock her and feel superior. Otherwise, her family would not be able to compare to her elder sister's family. Now, even Zhao Ping was going to be rich. How could this be allowed? If this continued, their family would never be able to catch up to her eldest sister's family. The gap between them and her eldest sister's family would only grow bigger. How could it be? Staring at the rather large restaurant, Liang Jinfen's eyes were filled with jealousy. Such a large restaurant would definitely cost a lot of money to rent. In the future, she would be able to earn a lot of money. Then, because of this, Liang Jinfen was very upset. How could she let Zhao Ping earn so much money? How infuriating! Just as Liang Jinfen was secretly angry, Su Lady tugged at Liang Jinfen and said, "Mother, look, aunt, uncle, cousin Yun and old Zhao's family are all sitting in the restaurant. It looks like they're going to eat there." Liang Jinfen caught a glimpse and became even more jealous. If they had a good meal in such a large restaurant, how much meat would they be able to eat? She had not eaten meat for a long time and desperately wanted to eat meat. Looking at such a lively scene, Liang Jinfen's eyes turned and she hurriedly turned back to drag Su Zhaodi to the front. Su Lady was puzzled. "Mother, what are you doing?" Liang Jinfen snorted and replied, "Since this is Ping Er's restaurant, and today is the first day of its opening, why don't we go and freeload?" Su Zhaodi frowned and asked, "Mother, that's not good. Won't they despise us for eating plain rice?" Liang Jinfen glared at Su Zhaodi. "You're thinking too much. What does it matter what others say? As long as we can eat a meal, it's fine. There's plenty of fish and meat. We can eat more and take advantage of more, right? They've already opened a restaurant. If we can't even bear to part with a meal, then don't you think we're being too petty?" Su Zhaodi was still hesitant. Actually, she was not as thick-skinned as Liang Jinfen. If they opened a restaurant, they could only come if they invited them. If they didn't invite them, they would be taking advantage of others and would inevitably be despised. After all, Zhao Ping did not invite their family this time. How could they come uninvited? Chapter 21:14. Su Lady persuaded Su Zhaodi, "Sister, don't think about it. Come eat with us. Mother is right. They've already opened a restaurant. Why would they be stingy with our meal? Your body is weak. Eat more nourishing food today. If you miss this opportunity, you won't have it again." Since Liang Jinfen and Su Lady had both said so, Su Zhaodi didn't want to dawdle. When the time came, she wouldn't be the only one who would be disliked. Since she was going to be disliked anyway, she didn't think much of it. Liang Jinfen squeezed through the crowd and went up to Zhao Ping. She hurriedly greeted her enthusiastically. "Aya, isn't this Ping girl?" Zhao Ping glanced at Liang Jinfen with an indifferent attitude. After a sound of agreement, she didn't say anything else. She didn't like this second aunt of hers. Usually she liked to blabber and talk about nonsense. When she had married into Qin Yuan, her second aunt had scolded and mocked her for a long time. Now, she couldn't be nice to Liang Jinfen. Liang Jinfen was thick-skinned. Even if Zhao Ping ignored her, she could still shamelessly lick Zhao Ping's boots. "Ping girl, I see that this restaurant has opened and you're managing it. Could it be that your family owns this restaurant?" Zhao Ping proudly raised her chin and boasted, "Yes, my husband and I were the ones who announced it. What's wrong?" When Liang Jinfen heard Zhao Ping's words, she felt even more disappointed. Then she forced herself to endure the loneliness and discomfort. She curled her lips and continued to smile. "Ping girl, you're really capable now. You actually opened such a big restaurant. I'm so happy to see you. When I get back, I'll be proud of you." Zhao Ping was in a good mood after being licked by Liang Jinfen. She naturally knew that Liang Jinfen was being insincere. However, she liked to hear people flatter her because it made her feel better, especially when Liang Jinfen used to look down on her, but now she was licking her boots. This contrast made her feel very proud. After a few words of flattery, Liang Jinfen began to say, "Ping girl, I see that your parents are sitting in the restaurant. Your family is preparing to eat?" Since second aunt is here and your family's opening is a joyous occasion, why don't we eat too? We'll add to the fun. Zhao Ping glanced at Liang Jinfen. She knew that Liang Jinfen had a lot on her mind. She said, there are many people in my restaurant today. They're probably too busy to eat. You don't have to add to the fun. If you're paying for the meal, then forget it. If you're not paying, then don't come. Hurry up and leave. Liang Jinfen's expression froze. He didn't expect Zhao Ping to be so stingy. Since she said that she would eat, then she definitely wouldn't pay. Otherwise, how could she be taking advantage of him? However, if he left just like that, Liang Jinfen wouldn't be satisfied. He continued, her girl, you're so capable. You've already earned so much money. Why do you care about our meal? I'm your second aunt. I see that old Zhao's family is eating. Although they're your father's relatives, your mother's relatives are also relatives. Why didn't they bring us along? Zhao Ping was very unhappy when she heard this. What an annoying second aunt. She could invite whoever she wanted to. What did it have to do with her? It wasn't as if her family couldn't finish the food in her restaurant. Why would she waste it on people like Liang Jinfen? Just as Zhao Ping was about to chase them away, Qin Yuan walked over and said to Zhao Ping, let them come in and eat. Chapter 21:15. Qin Yuan curled his lips and raised his chin, looking smug and arrogant. Liang Jinfen was afraid that Zhao Ping would interfere and stop them from eating. He hurriedly pulled Su Zhaodi and Su Lady in. Ping, lass, let's find a seat in the room first. There are too many people here. If we're late, we won't be able to find a seat later. Zhao Ping could not stop him in time. Liang Jinfen directly rushed into the restaurant. Seeing Liang Jinxiao like that, Zhao Ping was a little angry. Who was he? He usually liked to gossip. Once there was an opportunity to take advantage of others, he would be more proactive than anyone else. Great, now she had to give Liang Jinfen's family a free meal. Big brother Yuan. Zhao Ping looked at Qin Yuan with a face full of resentment. She said with some dissatisfaction, Big brother Yuan, how could you let them in to eat? You don't know how annoying my second aunt's family is. Qin Yuan said, it's just a meal. It doesn't cost much anyway. Zhao Ping complained unhappily, it doesn't cost much, but it's still money. We can't waste it, especially when it benefits people like them. Big brother Yuan, don't you know how annoying they are? Just treat it as feeding money to a dog. Next time this pug eats my food, it will have to wag its tail, right? They looked down on us previously. In the future, they will have to lower their heads in front of us. Zhao Ping, spending money is a small matter. Earning back your face is a big matter. You don't want others to look down on you, right? After hearing Qin Yuan's words, Zhao Ping thought about it and felt that it did make some sense. For so many years, no one looked up to her. Now that she had finally made a name for herself, she had to let others fawn over her. Big brother Yuan, you're right. Just treat it as feeding money to a dog. We can't be calculative with a dog. Qin Yuan's lips curled up. His face revealed a sense of satisfaction from venting his anger. After the restaurant opened, there was an endless stream of customers. Many people came over. Almost all the tables and chairs in Zhao Ping's restaurant were occupied by customers. Zhao Ping and Qin Yuan invited old Zhao's family to come over. As a member of the restaurant, Ma Xiaofeng invited Qian Chuanxiu and Ma Xiaoyu to eat together since it was the first day of the restaurant's opening. Qian Chuanxiu and Ma Xiaofeng were also very happy. Looking at such a magnificent restaurant and thinking that Ma Xiaofeng could also get some money, Qian Chuanxiu was even happier. She felt that this restaurant was like her own. This restaurant was owned by Qin Yuan and Zhao Ping. Although she only paid a small part of the money, she could still get a share of the profits. Because the two of them couldn't chase her away. After all, she was the one who made the pigs awful. If they didn't open a restaurant with her, she would definitely set up a stall and continue to sell pigs offal. If she sold pigs offal and the restaurant sold it, the restaurant wouldn't have any advantage. Moreover, she would definitely sell it cheaper than the restaurant. People weren't fools. If they wanted to eat pig's offal, they would definitely spend money here. Who wouldn't complain about having more money and be willing to spend more money? However, the money she paid was really too little. Basically, it was Qin Yuan who took the money. She only got 10% of the restaurant's profit commission. Ma Xiaofeng was very clear in her heart. 10% of the profit wasn't a small amount. No matter what, it was more than before. Moreover, it was more worry-free. Speaking of which, opening a restaurant was also more glorious than setting up a stall. Mother, go and sit with Yunner's family. Their table is big and can fit 2 people. Ma Xiaofeng pointed at the table where old Zhao's family was sitting. However, Qian Chuanxiu was a little unwilling. Why should she go and sit with old Zhao's family? Chapter 21:16. Thinking about what happened between her and Zhao Wenxue last time, Qian Chuanxiu hated old Zhao's family. Now, seeing old Zhao's family made her angry, let alone having a meal with them. By then, before she even ate, she might have already started a fight. I'm not going. Seeing those people makes me upset. I don't want to eat at the same table with them. Qian Chuanxiu said unhappily, clearly expressing her attitude and position. Ma Xiaofeng frowned and was a little embarrassed. Qian Chuanxiu pursed her lips and continued to say, Xiaoyu and I can just find a table and sit down. Anyway, we don't want to sit at the same table with old Zhao's family. Ma Xiaofeng sighed and had to follow Qian Chuanxiu's temperament and arrange a table for Qian Chuanxiu and Ma Xiaoyu alone. The reason why she let Qian Chuanxiu and Ma Xiaoyu eat with old Zhao's family was that she wanted Qian Chuanxiu to eat more. Otherwise, Qian Chuanxiu and Ma Xiaoyu couldn't eat much at the same table. After all, 2 people couldn't eat much at the same table. At most, they would be full after eating a few dishes. They wouldn't have the chance to taste many dishes. It would be different if they sat at the same table with old Zhao's family. There were more people and more food. They could have a good meal with a few more dishes. Otherwise, it would be boring to be full after eating a few dishes. However, Qian Chuanxiu didn't want to sit at the same table with old Zhao's family, so she wouldn't say anything about it. If she felt that the dishes weren't enough, she could take some back with her. Anyway, the restaurant was in her hands, so it wasn't difficult to get more food. Ma Xiaofeng arranged a table for Qian Chuanxiu and Ma Xiaoyu. Then there was a noise outside. Zhao Ping stood outside and called Ma Xiaofeng a few times. Xiaofeng, come here. What's wrong? Ma Xiaofeng had just finished asking when she looked up and saw several relatives of her family. They were her uncles and aunts, as well as her grandparents. Zhao Ping said angrily, Ma Xiaofeng, your relatives said that they would also come to the restaurant to eat. Now that there are so many people in the restaurant, how can we arrange everything? Ma Xiaofeng frowned and replied, I didn't. When did I call them over? Ma Xiaofeng's relative shamelessly came over and said to Ma Xiaofeng, Xiaofeng, I heard that you have a share in this restaurant. Since it's opened, we, as relatives, naturally came to join in the fun. Zhao Ping brought her whole family over to eat. As her uncle and aunt, shouldn't you invite us over to eat as well? As for these relatives, Ma Xiaofeng was extremely disgusted. How could she let them take advantage of her? For so many years, she didn't have a father, so she was very unfamiliar with the people of the Ma family. When her family was in trouble, no one was willing to help, so now she couldn't let these people take advantage of her. Somewhat angrily rolling her eyes at these people, Ma Xiaofeng unhappily replied, You guys are dreaming. Why should I let you eat? Hurry up and leave. Don't take advantage of me. With that, Ma Xiaofeng began to push them out. The Ma family members were also a little unhappy and mocked. Xiaofeng, didn't you just open a restaurant? Now that you're rich, have you forgotten your surname? Chapter 21:17. That's right. Now that you're rich, you don't recognize us anymore. Who do you think you are? You're not filial at all. At least she knows that her surname is Zhao and knows to invite her family over to eat. You, on the other hand, are not sensible at all. Xiaofeng, you're our Ma family seed. Although your father is no longer around, you can't just not recognize us. Uncles and aunts are still uncles and aunts. blood is thicker than water in a family. No matter how rich one is, one can't forget one's roots, understand? The people of the Ma family spoke one after another in a dignified and righteous manner. When Ma Xiaofeng heard the Ma family's words, she was almost disgusted. When her father passed away, these people did not reach out to help. What was worse was that they knew that she had a small family and kept bullying her. Those uncles and aunts actually wanted to snatch the few acres of farmland that her father left behind in the world. Fortunately, Li Zheng stepped in and upheld justice, not letting the few acres of farmland in the family be taken away by others. These people from the Ma family did not care about their friendship and even stepped on them when they were in trouble. But now that she was starting to become rich, these people shamelessly came over to ask for benefits. Could it be that these people's memories were that bad? Could it be that they had completely forgotten how they treated her family in the past? Ma Xiaofeng's face darkened. Facing the Ma family, she really could not bring out her good temper. She spat on the ground and scolded, "Ha, what blood is thicker than water? What **t relatives? Why didn't you mention it when my family was poor? All of you even avoided us, afraid that my mother and I would come over to ask for food. Now that I've opened a restaurant, you're hoping to take advantage of it. Do you really think we're stupid? Don't talk to me about family. My father died long ago. It was my mother who raised Xiao Yu and me. It has nothing to do with you. You didn't help my family in the past, so don't expect to get any benefits from me now." The Ma family members were a bit like scoundrels. It wasn't easy for them to travel so far and arrive at the town today. They just wanted to freeload a meal. Now that Ma Xiaofeng chased them away, of course they were not willing to leave just like that. "Little phone girl, it seems that you really don't intend to acknowledge us poor relatives? You're so calculative about the past. You're really holding a grudge. But Xiao phone girl, I still have to remind you that if you stay in Shuilan village, you will need someone to help you. If you offend us relatives, let's see who will help you when your family is bullied. You two are orphans and widows. You don't have a man at home. If you are really bullied, no one will stand up for you. That's right. Let us have a meal now, and we won't pursue what you said just now. If anything happens to your family in the future, as relatives, we can at least protect you." Ma Xiaofeng felt an indescribable sense of disgust when she saw the Ma family's attitude of giving her alms. She didn't like to hear those words. She just felt very unhappy. Ma Xiaofeng continued to drive them away. Go, go, go. Who needs your help? When our family is rich in the future, what kind of trouble can we run into? Even if there was trouble, there was nothing money couldn't solve. I don't need your help. Chapter 21:18. Zhao Ping, who was listening at the side, said sarcastically, "Xiaofeng, your relatives are here to take advantage of you. Of course, you can't believe their nonsense. If you let them eat you once, and they don't blame you for the second and third time, they will continue to let you eat them. Our restaurant is used to make money, not for relatives to eat and drink. If they come here often, we won't be able to do business anymore. It's better to use it to entertain relatives. How can we make money? I guess we will have to close down after a while." Ma Xiaofeng's words and Zhao Ping's ridicule and sarcasm made the Ma family feel embarrassed. Looking at the dishes being cooked in the restaurant, the Ma family couldn't help but want to go in and eat. Even if Ma Xiaofeng didn't agree, they must rush in and have a meal. "Xiaofeng, you're so stingy. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Stingy is stingy. Don't talk nonsense. Let's go in and have a meal. I don't believe this girl is shameless enough to ask us for money." The Ma family said and didn't care so much. They squeezed together and prepared to go into the house. After Ma Xiaofeng saw it, she was impressed by the Ma family's shamelessness. It seemed that if she didn't show them her power, they would treat her as a sick cat. She must teach these relatives a lesson. Zhao Ping was also very impatient and said with disgust, "Xiaofeng, why are you talking to these shameless people? Just tell them to get out." Hearing Zhao Ping's words, Ma Xiaofeng picked up the broom beside her and waved it at the Ma family. "Get out of here. Don't think about going in to eat and drink. I said that I won't let you eat, so don't come here shamelessly. Otherwise, I'll deal with you one by one." Facing Ma Xiaofeng's fierce look, Ma Xiaofeng didn't know if it was because Ma Xiaofeng's eyes were too intimidating, but the Ma family was a little scared. However, they were unwilling to be driven away by Ma Xiaofeng. Originally, the other branches of Ma Xiaofeng's family felt uncomfortable when they got rich. If they didn't take advantage of her now, they wouldn't feel good. The Ma family's bolder people stepped forward, wanting to go into the restaurant. They originally thought that Ma Xiaofeng was just threatening them. Who knew that Ma Xiaofeng's broom really would fall on their bodies? The relative who was beaten cried out in pain. The other relatives were shocked. Xiaofeng, let's just forget it. Let's go. It's just a meal. It won't be worth it if you get injured. Xiaofeng. If we really make a fuss, she won't be able to reason with us even if we go to the officials. But Xiaofeng is obviously crazy. I don't want to be beaten. It's not worth it if I get hurt and suffer losses. The more cowardly relatives already took a step back and planned to leave. At this time, Ma Xiaofeng's grandfather stepped forward to reprimand them. He accused Ma Xiaofeng of not being sensible and hitting her own elders. Later, he would chase Xiaofeng's family out of the clan. In the future, even if they died, they wouldn't be buried together with the Ma family. The Ma family still thought too highly of themselves. Ma Xiaofeng didn't care about their threats at all. Chapter 21:19. If you don't want to bury them, then don't bury them. Who cares? Just hurry up and get lost. Ma Xiaofeng continued to wave the broom. Zhao Ping was a little anxious after watching from the side. Xiaofeng, aren't you being too nice? Aren't you being too polite to them? If you chase them away like this, when will you be able to drive them away? These people are all shameless. Why are you being so polite to them? Really? After Zhao Ping muttered a sentence, she eagerly rushed into the restaurant's kitchen. Then, she took out a bucket of swill and said to the Ma family, "Are you leaving or not? If you don't leave, the swill in this bucket will be poured on your body." The swill had an unpleasant rancid smell. If it got on the body, it would stink to death. Seeing this, the Ma family couldn't continue to stay. Let's go. Xiaofeng girl treated us like this. We will remember it. What are you, unfilial to your elders and still expecting to have great prospects? This restaurant better close down after a few days. In the future, you won't be able to earn money. The Ma family's attitude was really disgusting. After their mouths were full, they resentfully left. After being disturbed by the Ma family, Ma Xiaofeng's good mood was suddenly ruined. After Zhao Ping watched the Ma family leave, she coldly snorted. Then, she turned to Ma Xiaofeng and said, "Xiaofeng, next time they are like this, you must not be polite to them. The more you give them an inch, the more they want a mile. Just like me, I don't believe that they won't be afraid of splashing swill on them." Ma Xiaofeng pulled the corner of her mouth. "Sister Ping, I know. It's good that you know. Xiaofeng, you are too kind." She was kind? Ma Xiaofeng couldn't help but want to laugh. This was the first time someone said that she was kind. She was just used to being bullied. In the past, her mother took care of her and her younger brother. She didn't know how many times they were bullied. Her behavior just now, in the eyes of the Ma family, was definitely going to turn the sky upside down. "Sister Ping, let's hurry up and get busy. There are a lot of people here today, so the restaurant must be very busy." Ma Xiaofeng hurriedly nodded. "Let's hurry up and get busy. We'll be busy for the next few days." The two of them had already entered the restaurant. Fortunately, the waiters had all worked in other restaurants before and were experienced. Although there were a lot of people, they weren't so busy that they couldn't figure out the directions. They were still orderly. The tables in the restaurant were all full. Some of the customers who couldn't eat went to other restaurants. Those who were free were lining up in front of the restaurant. Zhao Yuner tasted the dishes that were served. The taste was not bad. It was the usual taste of a restaurant. This kind of taste was not very outstanding. With this kind of taste, the business would not be too bad, but of course, it would not be too good either. The only specialty was the pig's offal. However, Zhao Yuner knew that the pig's offal was not bad. Especially the pig's offal that was made according to her method. Many people liked it. Back then, Zhao Pinger's stall sold pig's offal so well. One could imagine how much the people of Yang City liked it. However, with only this dish, everyone could eat it for a period of time. After eating too much, they wouldn't want to eat it anymore. Without the pig's offal, the restaurant couldn't innovate and the business would be greatly affected in the future. Old Zhao's family ate at the same table. Zhao Yuner ate a little and was full. She didn't want to eat anymore and continued to play with Tian Tian at the side. Chapter 21:20. In Mu Lianfeng's opinion, these dishes were not even half as good as Zhao Yuner's. Compared to Zhao Yuner and Mu Lianfeng, the rest of old Zhao's family ate very happily. They did not have much to eat normally, and now that they finally had a meal, how could they let it go so easily? All of them ate as much as they could, as if they were hungry ghosts that had crawled out of hell. Old Zhao's family was very shrewd, and they only ate the fish. The more oily and expensive the fish, the more they ate. They did not even touch the vegetables. After eating, their stomachs obviously bulged a lot. In the end, when they could not eat anymore, they looked at the table full of delicious dishes and stopped eating. As long as they could still eat, they would definitely continue to stuff their stomachs. Zhao Yun did not know what to say about old Zhao's family. But she knew that not only old Zhao's family was like this, but the others were also like this. When they were almost done eating, there was still a lot of food left on the table. Liang Jinfen felt that it was a pity that there was so much food left, but they could not eat anymore. Some plates had more than half a bowl of red braised pork left. It was a mixture of fat and lean meat, and when one bit into it, one's mouth would be covered with oil. Liang Jinfen called out to Su Lady and Su Zhaodi, "You too eat. You only ate so little and you can't eat much. If you don't eat now, you won't have anything to eat later. Don't go home and tell me that you want to eat." Su Lady touched her stomach and looked at Liang Jinfen pitifully. She said to Liang Jinfen, "Mother, my stomach is only so big. I've already eaten enough, how can I eat more?" "Then Zhaodi should eat more. Your body is not good to begin with, so you should eat more. Look at how skinny you are now, and your in-laws are not good either. They don't cook more good food for you, and they make you work every day. Aren't they afraid that your body will be exhausted?" Liang Jinfen grumbled unhappily. How could she not feel heartache for her daughter? Ever since Su Zhaodi gave birth to her daughter, the attitude of her husband's family changed greatly. Su Zhaodi had led a good life in the Huang family, especially when she was pregnant. Not only did he not have to do much work, but he also often bought her delicious food to nourish her body. Now, the Huang family was very ruthless. Even though Su Zhaodi had just given birth, they didn't let Su Zhaodi do a few days of postpartum confinement before making her work in the fields. Forget about that. The most important thing was that not only did he have to work, but he also couldn't eat well every day. His body couldn't nourish itself, and coupled with the overwork, he was on the verge of collapse. Liang Jinfen looked at his daughter. She had lost at least 5 kilograms, and there was not a single ounce of meat on her body. Unfortunately, her daughter was married. She couldn't decide the life of her grandmother's family, and she didn't have enough money to let her daughter live a good life. She could only watch her daughter suffer. Who asked her daughter to be in the same situation as her? Her stomach was not good enough, and she gave birth to a good-for-nothing. If she had given birth to a son, it wouldn't have ended up like this. Now, she could only hope that she would give birth to a son next time, so that Su Zhaodi could regain some status in her husband's family. But now that she wanted a child, it would be difficult for Su Zhaodi to conceive. She had just given birth, and her vitality was greatly damaged. Su Zhaodi looked at the table full of delicious food. She had eaten a lot of fish and meat, but now, like Liang Jinfen and Su Lady, she couldn't eat any more. Chapter 21:21. Liang Jinfen rolled his eyes at Su Zhaodi. "Why can't you two eat? If your father were here, he would definitely eat a lot." "Mother, father is a man. Of course he would eat a lot. We can't eat that much." Su Lady grumbled. Sigh, it's a pity that your father likes to stay at home and doesn't want to come out. Otherwise, he would be able to eat a good meal with us. He would be able to eat a lot of fish and meat. Liang Jinfen looked regretful, as if he had suffered a great loss. Mother, the three of us ate a lot anyway. This meal is worth it. Su Lady comforted her. That's true. At least the three of us ate enough. Sigh, there's so much left on the table. It's such a waste if we can't finish it. Zhaodi, are you sure you don't want to eat a little more? If you don't eat, you won't be able to eat anymore. Su Zhaodi still shook her head. Mother, I really can't eat anymore. If I could, I would definitely be stuffed into my stomach. All right then. Liang Jinfen sighed. Su Lady's eyes turned and she said to Liang Jinfen, Mother, if we can't finish it, we can bring some back. There's so much left on the table anyway. If we don't bring it back, it'll be a waste. Liang Jinfen thought about it and agreed. Anyway, these were all leftovers. If no one ate them, it would be a waste if they didn't bring it back. Thus, he called the waiter over and brought a few pieces of butter paper over. He looked at the leftovers on the table and picked out the delicious and greasy ones to wrap up. When old Zhao's family saw Liang Jinfen's actions, they couldn't help but complain. This person is really too much. He only wants to take advantage of others. He even wants to wrap up the leftovers to bring back. The one who spoke was Feng Zhangxia. Usually, her mouth was very poisonous. She didn't care if her words would make others feel uncomfortable. As soon as Feng Zhangxia finished speaking, Hua Chunhua looked at Liang Jinfen with some dissatisfaction. She stared at Liang Jinfen's hand movements with her cloudy eyes. Her mouth moved and she cursed under her breath. They are all third brother's relatives from his wife's side. None of them are good. It's fine that we came over to eat, but they are shameless enough to come over. One meal wasn't enough, and now he's taking it all back. Does he really think Pinger's restaurant is his own? How infuriating. Mother, if you want to blame someone, blame it on third sister-in-law. How could she have such a relative who even dares to disgust our old Zhao family? Old Zhao's family was dissatisfied with Liang Jinfen. Zhao Yun originally didn't want to get involved, but Zhao Xinhui actually pointed the spearhead at Liang Jinxiao. Liang Jinxiao didn't do anything and was now unjustly implicated. Naturally, Zhao Yun couldn't stand by and watch. Younger aunt, your words are really interesting. My mother didn't decide which relative she has. How can you blame her? If it were up to me, I wouldn't want to have relatives like you. It's so annoying. After Zhao Yun finished speaking, Zhao Xinhui glared at Zhao Yun angrily. You wretched girl. Are you only thinking of making people angry? What's wrong with us? We are much better than your second aunt. Chapter 21-22. Zhao Xinhui was infuriated by Zhao Yun's words. You be asterisk tsich. If you dare to spout nonsense again, I'll tear your mouth apart. What? Auntie, are you angry out of humiliation? I'm only speaking the truth. You can't deny it even if you don't want to. In any case, young ladies are a joke in the village. Zhao Xinhui's anger was ignited by Zhao Yun's words. She knew that her relationship with young Master Huang was ridiculed by the villagers, but she hid at home every day to avoid the gossip. Her life was as carefree as before, and she didn't care that she was the target of ridicule. Now, Zhao Yun's words were like a reminder to her. It was nothing more than rubbing salt on her wound. How could she stand it? Zhao Xinhui's eyes were red with anger. Her long fingernails were about to scratch Zhao Yun's mouth. Zhao Yun, you be asterisk key. I'll tear your mouth apart and see what else you can say. However, before Zhao Xinhui's hand could reach Zhao Yun, Mu Lianfeng's tall figure blocked Zhao Yun's way. Zhao Xinhui stumbled towards Mu Lianfeng. Mu Lianfeng reached out and pushed Zhao Xinhui away. Zhao Xinhui couldn't withstand the force from Mu Lianfeng's hand and fell. Zhao Xinhui landed heavily on the ground. Her butt was hit so hard that her pelvis almost broke. Zhao Xinhui's face contorted in pain and she almost cried. It really hurt. Master Shitzi didn't know how to treat a woman with tenderness. He was too harsh on her. Mu Lianfeng's cold voice rang out above Zhao Xinhui's head. I've already warned you many times. If anyone dares to lay a hand on Yun, I won't be merciful. If you have the guts, you can try. Mu Lianfeng's cold voice carried a kind of authority that didn't allow for hesitation. Everyone present was intimidated by Mu Lianfeng. Zhao Xinhui took a while to regain her senses. She had forgotten that Zhao Yun had Mu Lianfeng's backing. With Mu Lianfeng's status, how many people dared to offend him? Unless they didn't want their lives. How many times have I told you not to bicker with Yun? You just wouldn't listen. Now you're suffering, aren't you? Hua Chunhua scolded Zhao Xinhui, then turned to Mu Lianfeng with a fawning smile. Master Shitzi, please don't bicker with my girl. She's not sensible. Mu Lianfeng snorted coldly. It's the father's fault for not teaching her well. Since she's not sensible as her mother, you should educate her well. Don't let her continue to be so unruly. Hua Chunhua was so frightened that she hurriedly replied, Yes, yes, yes. Master Shitzi is right. I'll definitely educate her well so that she won't continue to cause trouble like this. Only then did Mu Lianfeng retract the coldness on his face. His sharp gaze shifted away from Zhao Xinhui. Hua Chunhua heaved a sigh of relief. She was actually a little worried that Mu Lianfeng would get angry and do something to Zhao Xinhui. After all, they were just ordinary people, and Mu Lianfeng was the master Shitzi. If they angered Mu Lianfeng, the consequences would be very serious. Zhao Xinhui was obviously frightened by Mu Lianfeng and didn't dare to continue badmouthing Zhao Yun. She sat on the ground and was in so much pain that she didn't dare to make a sound. She looked aggrieved. Hua Chunhua quickly walked in front of Zhao Xinhui and pulled Zhao Xinhui up from the ground. Chapter 21-23. Zhao Xinhui had a bitter expression on her face as she nodded in response. Mother, do you even need to say it? Of course it hurts. But feels like it's rotten. Sigh. Hua Chunhua sighed heavily, her heart aching. Go back and get some ointment. Apply it and rub it. It should be fine. Zhao Xinhui replied pitifully, Okay, mother. I have to apply the ointment properly. Otherwise, I don't know when my butt will recover. Got it. Hua Chunhua sighed. She really didn't know what to say to this daughter of hers. Yuna, how are you? You didn't get a fright, right? Mu Lianfeng turned around and moved closer to Zhao Yuner, asking with concern. Unlike before, Mu Lianfeng's tone was much gentler. He could only put on such a good temper when dealing with Zhao Yuner. Zhao Yuner shook her head. Fortunately, you blocked it in time. Nothing happened. That's good. Mu Lianfeng was relieved. But I don't know if Tian Tian got a fright. Zhao Yuner patted Tian Tian who was in her arms. When Zhao Xinhui shouted at her just now, Tian Tian was obviously stunned, as if she had been frightened. Children were like this. They were more timid and couldn't withstand a sudden shout. After Zhao Yuner patted her a few times, Tian Tian's mood eased a lot. She was very obedient in Zhao Yuner's arms and looked at Zhao Yuner with her big cute eyes. Yeah, Tian Tian cried out a few times. Tian, you didn't get a fright? Zhao Yuner teased. Yeah, Tian Tian waved her little fist again. Unfortunately, Zhao Yuner didn't understand what Tian Tian meant. The commotion caused by Zhao Yun attracted the attention of Liang Jinfen and his family. Su Zhaodi looked at the child in Zhao Yuner's arms and couldn't take her eyes off him. The little child was in Zhao Yuner's arms. She was wearing silk clothes and looked like a little rabbit. She was soft and cute and made people feel sorry for her. Zhao Yuner held Tian Tian's butt with one hand and Tian Tian's back with the other. Zhao Yuner was very familiar with taking care of children. Tian Tian was held in Zhao Yuner's arms. Obviously, she thought of Zhao Yuner as her own mother. If one didn't know, they would think that Tian Tian was Zhao Yuner's child. However, the truth was only known to those who understood the situation. When Su Zhaodi saw the little girl in Zhao Yuner's arms, her heart trembled, and there was an indescribable feeling. She looked at Tian Tian and her gaze was completely attracted to Tian Tian. Was this her daughter? She saw Tian Tian once when she was just born. The child was wrinkled and very thin when she was just born. She was not as cute and chubby as she was now. At that time, she had no choice but to abandon Tian Tian. Who asked Tian Tian to be a girl? If Tian Tian was a boy, not only would she not have to abandon him, but the Huang family would also treasure him very much. Even if she was a girl, she was abandoned and suffered with her. After Tian Tian was taken away by Zhao Yuna, her life was troubled by this kind of thing. She couldn't even take care of herself, let alone miss this child. Now that she saw Tian Tian, Su Zhaodi found that she had an indescribable feeling. That little girl was her biological daughter. Chapter 21-24. Su Zhaodi couldn't help but stand up and walk towards Zhao Yun'er's table. Liang Jinfin and Su Lady saw her and asked, "Zhaodi, where are you going?" "Yes, sister, where are you going?" Su Zhaodi glanced at the child in Zhao Yun'er's arms, then looked at Liang Jinfin and Su Lady. There was a touch of loneliness in her eyes, and her lips trembled as she said, "I saw my baby. I want to go and see." After Su Zhaodi finished speaking, she was a little afraid that Liang Jinfin would reprimand her. She stole a glance at Liang Jinfin. As expected, Liang Jinfin's reaction was similar to what she had expected. Liang Jinfin's face was cold as she said unhappily, "It's just a good-for-nothing. What are you looking at? There's nothing to see." "But mother, I want to go and take a look." "Just one look is enough. After all, she's a child that I carried for a few months." A mother had a very special feeling for her child. It would have been better if she hadn't seen it, but now that she had seen it, she couldn't pretend to ignore it. "Don't look. If you see it, you'll only think about that good-for-nothing. You'll probably miss it. Right now, you should take care of your body and give birth to a chubby little boy. That's the best thing to do." "Mother?" Su Zhaodi looked deeply at the child in Zhao Yun'er's arms and couldn't bear to look away. Su Lady said, "Mother, if you can't do it, let sister go. It's just one look. If you don't let her go back, she'll miss it every day." Liang Jinfin looked at Su Zhaodi and then at Su Lady. She felt a little sad, especially when she saw Su Zhaodi's reluctant expression. She wasn't a heartless person. When she saw Su Zhaodi like this, it was as if she had done something unforgivable. She could only say, all right, hurry up and go. Just one look is enough. Don't look too long." "Yes, mother." Su Zhaodi responded and then walked towards Zhao Yun. Not long after, he arrived in front of Zhao Yuna. Zhao Yun'er did not expect Su Zhaodi to suddenly come over and was startled. Then, she saw Su Zhaodi staring at the baby in her arms and understood Su Zhaodi's intention. She was here to see Tian Tian because Tian Tian was her biological daughter. However, Zhao Yun'er clearly remembered that Su Zhaodi had abandoned Tian Tian. If it weren't for her, it was unknown whether Tian Tian would have survived. Su Zhaodi was just an unqualified mother. She had worked so hard to give birth to her child. How could she treat her like this? If it were her, no matter what others said or what her in-laws did, she would never abandon her child so easily. Even if she had to give it her all, she would not let her child suffer any grievances. Can you give me a hug?" When she got closer and saw Tian Tian in Zhao Yun'er's arms, Su Zhaodi found that there was an indescribable feeling in her heart. She was very much looking forward to being able to hold this soft and tender child, even if it was just for a while. As Su Zhaodi spoke, her pleading eyes fell on Zhao Yun. Zhao Yuna looked up and saw that Su Zhaodi's eyes were filled with tears. It was as if she would be very sad if she rejected her. Zhao Yun'er's heart also did not feel good. She didn't want to talk to a mother who treated her child like this. You're tuning in to the Dreamy Chapters YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.